Welcome in for week 3 of North Carolina football. We are here in Tigertown, Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, at Michael John Stadium, Larry Honeycutt Field, for a matchup between the 2-0 Mount Pleasant Tigers and the visiting 0-2 Central Cabarrus Vikings. 485 crew here covering this for you tonight. James Mellick alongside Mark Plemons here this evening. We're excited to bring this one to you guys here from Tigertown. We also have a crew covering the Concord at Robinson game as well. Wanted to let you guys know about that one. Want to also remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by BenMinot.com, your hometown drugstore, Cannon Pharmacy, Wilkinson Funeral Home, Pizza Hut, your Cabarrus County newspaper, the Independent Tribune, the Cabarrus County Fair, the Carolina Renaissance Festival, and the Southern Christmas Show. Well, Mark, we're here at Mount Pleasant. First time we've made the trip up here to Tigertown this year. Only week 3, so probably plenty more trips heading up this way, but man, it looks good out there.
Oh, absolutely. The field looks great. Of course, these turf fields, they really, when they're pretty new, they look really good. This one looks really, really good. That big tiger paw out in the middle. Video on this is on the NFHS network. It's on the Pixelot. We were supposed to have our audio run into that tonight. With technical issues, that's not happening. So we're doing this tonight, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. If you tune on over to the video, we understand that as well. We got the captains getting ready to go out, James, and we see the honorary captain for Mount Pleasant is Landon Honeycutt. Landon, number 4, I believe it was number 42 when he played here for Coach Mike Johns.
Sounds about right.
And he is out there with the captains for Mount Pleasant getting ready to go out. He had a great career in the South Atlantic Conference with Mars Hill University. This past summer, he was in the camp for the Cleveland Browns, and many of you saw him on TV as Landon was number 35 with the Browns, and he was in the final cut and just not able to quite make the cut. But again, he's out there as the honorary captain for the Tigers.
Yeah, and real quick, before we get into action there real fast, we'll bring up a quick note that last week, me and you were able to cover that Central Cabarrus game on Monday after the weather we had.
Or Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning.
After the rain we had Friday. And it was an injury to one of the players there. The quarterback, Dylan Ryan, was injured during a play there, was taken off the field and didn't see the field again about halfway through the third quarter, didn't touch the field. And I happened to run into his brother outside of the press box here, and I asked him how his brother was doing. And he said he's actually been cleared, and he's going to see action tonight. That's good news to hear.
It should be an interesting game. This is a big rivalry game. These teams have been playing ever since Central Cabarrus came into existence in the late 60s. Tigers have won the toss and are going to defer. So far in the young season, Tigers have had 2 good wins. One against Jesse Carson on the road. Then they went up to Robert C. Bailey Stadium and beat the Tigers last week. Beat the Spiders. I get these but not the right Spiders and Tigers. But looks like both teams are headed back to either end and getting ready to run out onto the field. But we're looking for an interesting football game here this evening.
Yeah, and there's quite a few matchups that look like they're going to be pretty interesting around the state there, Mark. You know, I'm looking around at some of these matchups, and I'm just going to throw a couple of them out there to you real quick. You got Richmond and Cardinal Gibbons, 2 powerhouses. You got Olympic and West Cabarrus, Weddington West Forsyth, both of them 2-0. Then you got Grayson traveling up from Georgia to play Mallard Creek. So a lot of good football, including this game we got here as the Tigers head out onto the field here in Tigertown for the first time to greet their fans at their home stadium this season. Both games from Mount Pleasant to start the year on the road. Next week.
And Central Cabarrus has started 2 games at home against Union County schools in Piedmont Saturday and, of course, Sun Valley the previous week.
And next week, Mount Pleasant remains at home again as well as they will face Northwest, who has a new quarterback this year as their quarterback's graduated of Alex Walker.
Well, the quarterback and the Trojans last night had a big win over A.L. Brown. That's 2 years in a row that Northwest has beaten A.L. Brown after that long streak that went all the way back to the 1970s before the Trojans had beaten the Wonders. Last night, I thought the defense for Northwest Cabarrus last night played really well, too. Every time I would kind of spot check looking in on that game, there was somebody running in the backfield knocking down a white jersey from A.L. Brown.
Oh, it's never good when you see the team going the opposite direction. As Mount Pleasant won the kickoff, they decided to defer. They'll kick from left to right, and Central Cabarrus has decided to receive opening kickoff on the far side of the field. Receiving would be the right side of the field. Far side will be number 4. That's going to be...
I believe that's we don't know how to.
I think it was Chinwa.
Chinwa.
I think it's how they wanted that one pronounced, was Chinwa.
He's Abu Chinwa.
Abu Chinwa. As this one's a short kick that's going to bounce at the 30, and Chinwa is going to pick it up and run out of bounds with it.
That looked like it was going out of bounds again.
It did, and the flag gets tossed in from the far side line judge, and he throws that one out near the 38. So we'll wait and see what the flag is there as he picks it up and waves it off.
He's going to wave it off, okay.
And this is where Central Cabarrus will take over for the first time today, Mark. And the quarterback.
Well, the roster says Lucas Rogers as the quarterback. Of course, Dylan Ryan was number 7. I haven't seen a number 7 out there throwing.
I haven't yet either.
So
wait and see. It looks like you're right there. It looks like it's going to be Lucas Rogers in at the quarterback position here for Central Cabarrus on a 1st and 10 with the ball at their own 25, as they try to hand this one off in a miscue there, and the quarterback will keep it and get it back to the line of scrimmage.
He got thumped. He dropped the ball, and it bounced right back up to him, but he lost all momentum going toward the line of scrimmage and just got thumped.
Good job from Rogers to at least get back to the line of scrimmage there. That could have been devastating and costed them 4 yards there, but they lived to fight another day with a 2nd and 10. That's just, that's the way you look at it, as a long incompletion on 1st down, and you head on to the next one.
Maddox Barrier, the first tackler in on the play for the Tigers.
They'll line up 3 receivers, 2 left, 1 right. He shifts the receiver in motion there. Quarterback Rogers keeps it. He runs up the middle, and he'll pick up 3. He shifted Chinwa in motion there.
So short gain. Now, we have not seen a pass yet.
We have not.
Just kind of keeping it conservative. One play, with a drop snap. And we saw a lot of that on Saturday against Piedmont.
As they come out with a 3rd down and 7 here, and we'll go back to that running you were talking about here in a moment, Mark, as they line up 4 receivers 2 each way, and one jumps offside there.
That'll be
Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, the left end jump, so that's going to be a 5-yard gain for Central Cabarrus. That's going to change significantly what you've got. You got 3rd down now at about just a little bit more than 2 yards to go. That's
a jump offside there on Roy Behringer. Brings up a 3rd and 2 here now. More manageable spot for the Vikings. They line up 3 receivers. 2 left, 1 right. He puts in the belly of his back, puts the head down, runs up the middle, and keeps fighting all the way up to the 40, and a good piece of running there from the running back of James.
DeMonte James got a good quick step, and he made a good cut. Didn't need a whole lot.
James is a quick, shifty back, and when we get a quick second here, we'll talk about the running we were going to talk about moments ago, because Mount Pleasant is a heavy run team typically in the past.
They've had some big plays, though, in the passing game this season so far.
As the quarterback of Rogers keeps it this time, and he'll get it to midfield. So far, no pass attempts here. That mark it actually at the 48 or the 49 of Mount Pleasant here. So across midfield for the first time today are the Vikings, and
little read option on that play, and he's looking at the defensive lineman and see where they're keying. And when he pulled it out of the belly, there was a hole in the inside.
He took off, and he's going to make it a manageable 2nd down with a 2nd and 1. I'll put a receiver each way here. Back James in the backfield. Rogers, first throw of the day, goes to Chinwa. Chinwa flips it. That's going to be into the hands of one of his teammates.
The offensive lineman, yeah.
going to be Infant Morrow.
We saw that play against Piedmont. The problem was the receiver, it would have worked. It was a fourth down play they tried, but the receiver fell down before he could pitch the ball. Tigers probably saw that on film, and they diagnosed it, but it was just enough to get the first down into Tiger territory at the 45.
So that moves the chains. They'll put 2 left, 1 right. That one on the ground in.
Well, that somebody had a strong grip right there. He got the jersey. Number 73 for the Tigers making that play is Tillon McDowell.
The senior.
McDowell just got the jersey, and Rogers couldn't get away from the jersey, and so he just pulled him back, and they had some strong hands. And that's one of those things in the weight room and in the strong arms, strong hands.
At grip strength, it is a huge factor.
Can't go back to the 70s when they had those Oklahoma tearaway jerseys running the wishbone and the quarterback getting his jersey stripped shredded as he runs across midfield or something. But no, this time 1 yard gain.
We got an injured Viking on the field there, and as you said, Mark, can't go back to those old jerseys. These jerseys are a little tougher nowadays, and once that grip strength comes into play, able to stop the quarterback there. And as we look outside here, Mark, while we're on a quick delay for the injury on the field, we still look over there and the kids are sliding down the MP on the Mount Pleasant Hill. You got the kids running up and down the hill on the home side here.
There's more games going on than just what's on the football field.
Yes, there is. There is always entertainment here at Mount Pleasant High School. Safe environment. Always see everybody smiling. You can definitely tell when you walk in here, you see the family community between everyone when they meet behind the press box here.
That's Coach Bevilacqua's son, Brandon Bevilacqua, being helped off a little. We hope that he's okay. We saw him get banged up a little bit on Saturday again against Piedmont, and he is walking very slowly with the training staff. We got a first quarter score coming in on our CannonPharmacies.com scoreboard. J.M. Robinson 14, Concord nothing.
Wow, we got a good one. That sounds like a decent one there.
Cannon Pharmacy, home of free delivery. CannonPharmacies.com.
Well, I got one here. I was talking about how we had a team coming up from Georgia to face against Mallard Creek. We had Grayson coming up from Georgia. They are up on Mallard Creek right now. And, they're playing some good football. I just lost it. I was going to tell you guys the score, but it just jumped off of Twitter on me. So give the shout-out to where it came from. It was Twitter. I'll get that brought back up.
X.
Yeah. 14-0. There you go. I got the score now. Mooresville up big, 22-0 over West Rowan as well. As we are back to action here for a 2nd and 9. Rogers set to throw, goes far side. It's going to be caught, turns upfield inside the 40 and shoved out of bounds short of the first down as he got that one to, was that Howard? 14, is that who caught it? Howard?
I thought it was Clay.
10?
Was that 10? I believe it may have been
Daniel Clay?
Yeah. They're going to mark him just short of the first down, so it's going to bring up 3rd down. You're in 4-down territory here, not in field goal range.
No, you are definitely in 4 down.
At least 20 right now, I believe, to get into field goal range for Central Cabarrus.
So at 3rd and 1, they line up with a wing back to the left, 2 right, 1 to the left. They move Clay in motion behind his quarterback, Rogers. Now put him to the right side. Snap high, gets it down. Rogers follows Clay, gets the first down, and it'll be brought down around the 32 to 33. See where they mark him at, but the chains will move, Mark.
Right side of that offensive line for Central Cabarrus doing a good job, and I think they had a tight end blocking over on that side as well, and that just, big number 73, I think, was leading the charge for Central Cabarrus. That's Chris Rosales.
Salas led the way. Following him was Clay, and then right behind Clay was the quarterback of Rogers, and it's enough to move the chains, and it'll be spotted at the 33.
Clay's a big, strong. Typically, he's a tight end. Got him in the backfield though. That kind of that just a blocking formation. Now you got it.
Now he's lined up in the Wildcat. Clay is at the quarterback spot.
Chinwa goes in motion. No, that's not Chinwa. That's
set to throw. Looks deep and throws it, and it's in the hands and picked off.
Intercepted. Wow, that's a tremendous. He took it away from the receiver in the air.
That one's caught by Ethan Dempsey.
Wow. That play was open. The ball got there just a smidgen late. That allowed Dempsey to come over and just take the ball away because that ball was a well-thrown post. And it's right about the box for the soccer goal.
Yes, and Dempsey plays both sides of the ball. Probably the best wide receiver here on this Mount Pleasant Tigers team.
He's one of the best players in the county right now.
And he just goes out there, played the defensive side, came away with it, and you lined up now near side here, close to us by himself. As Regal, the quarterback here, Jacob Regal, the junior, gets the snap, hands it off to the ball carrier who goes up the middle, who should be Colin Black, the quarterback. He hands that off to Regal.
Yeah, Jacob Regal, number 13. Solid gain on first down. Touchback after the interception in the end zone. So you start from the 20 and good. Trying to change the field position.
Black goes to Dempsey, and Dempsey makes the catch and enough for a first down as Dempsey moves it up to the 39 and a quick strike through the air. And we're typically used to seeing Mount Pleasant be a run team, but you talked about it, Mark. They've had some big plays through the air this year.
They've got a little bit more balance. They're not quite as, and they're not in that kind of jumbo veer set. They're more of a spread team now.
Hand it off to Regal again. He goes up the middle, and he'll pick up about 3 there. Yeah, head coach Daniel Crosby here in his third year as coach for Mount Pleasant has really started to develop his style of offense with this team. First years here, he kind of just followed suit, just kept with the run. Now he's developing his.
Kind of use some of that veer stuff. Now you're going to, and a lot of it depends personnel. You got double wings here, and you got a wing coming in motion in Regal.
Back to Regal again, and Regal goes across the 45 to the 46, and it's going to bring up.
This is very similar to what Scott Abel and the Davidson Wildcats do. You got those wings. You can put those. They call them slot backs. They call them different things. The X's, and they've got different names for them. I usually call them wing backs because they're just off the tackle. They're kind of turned around like they could run back, and now you can see one running through the motion on the jet.
Hand this one off to looks like it was Dempsey who got that one, who gets it to the 50. It was Dempsey with the carry there.
And what it does, you have 4 people who potentially could run the ball. You got those wings on either side. That time, Dempsey came from a slot, so he was just off the line of scrimmage and then motioned into the play.
Yeah, that's what I call them as well. As I call them wing backs lined up, like we have a wing back here lined up to the right side in an empty backfield, and they move Regal in motion.
Double reverse.
That's off into the hands of Aiden Smith, and Smith gets it all the way up to the 30, and a good run from Smith.
And what makes that possible, and I think Regal's played some quarterback before, but what you saw was the handoff to Regal. Regal immediately handed off just like a little inside counter, and 11 set it down almost to the house, inside the 30.
They line up trip rights, and they bring Regal in motion. They give it to Regal this time, left side. He gets to the hashes on the left side and gets the ball inside the 30 up to the 28. Bring up a 2nd down and 8 here for the Tigers.
And the temptation is those safeties start and corners start to get sucked up the field. They start thinking run, and then what you do is you do a play fake. Somebody streaks down one of those seams, and they're in the end zone in the pass game.
4:30 left here, first quarter, nothing to score. First drive for the Tigers. They line up, give the ball back off to Regal. Regal goes left side, across the number, still on his feet, fighting forward, brought down just short of the Pizza Hut red zone at the 23-yard line.
Look at it. Looked like a pulling guard through there. I was trying to see his number. Maybe it was, I think it may have been Austin Negree, and he just came pulling and just kind of graded a little hole.
Back again to Regal. Regal goes up the middle trying to get the first down. He's going to get a yard, but he's still short as he gets it up to the 22.
Looks like that may have been Aiden Smith.
With the carry?
Yeah, Smith with the carry. So 4th down and 2. Now, the Tigers have shown a lot of different things. They're going to have to hurry. They've got a player coming off.
That's Regal coming off
Regal
now.
gets off, so they're going to go jumbo here, out of the shotgun.
See what they got here on 4th down and 2. There's a snap. Quarterback keeps it, goes up the middle. He's going to keep his legs turning, got enough for the first down, and a good run there.
And what you do there, you got 5 offensive linemen, you got 3 backs, and the quarterback runs behind all 8 of those people, and basically Coach Crosby and company are saying, you can't knock us all down. We'll just push you back.
And they did, and they make a stop real quick inside the Pizza Hut red zone. Remember, it's not too late to go to pizzahut.com, get yourself a pizza, cinnamon sticks, and pizza. Tell them the guys from 485 Sanchez. Dempsey gets it and heads near side, and he gets shoved out of bounds at the 7. They're going to mark it at the 7, yes.
He didn't follow his blockers. He might have been able just to go straight up the gut, but he bounced it outside really quick, and I heard one of the coaches yell. So that, they didn't want him to bounce that play. They wanted him to continue straight up the gut.
They're lining Dempsey up again at the quarterback spot. Jumbo package here on 2nd down. Only needing a couple here for the first. Dempsey gets it, looks left, finds a seam, finds a hole, fights for the goal line, and they say he's at half a yard short.
It's 1st and goal at the 1. He set that up. They had an edge set, and what he did, he acted like he was going to bounce, put his foot in the ground, and just stepped hard right behind those blockers.
As this brings up a 1st and goal with the ball spotted at the 1. 2:15 left here, first quarter. Mount Pleasant in striking distance for the first score of the day. High snap, gets it down to Regal, and Regal in there for the first touchdown of the day.
Yeah, that was Tigers drove 80-yard drive
with 2:02.
Yeah, 2:02 left here in the first quarter.
And that was just a methodical drive there, Mark. They ran the ball, they passed the ball, a lot of running, but at the same time, all that running really kind of got opened up by that big pass to Ethan Dempsey there. And first drive here at home crowd loved to see it, putting points on the board.
Got a Central Cabarrus player going to be going off to the sideline. Now it looks like we're ready to go. Well, now there's another player going to run in.
One on now. As we await the extra point here to make it a 7-point ball game.
Tigers going to kick it.
There's the snap, the kick. It's up, and it is good. The score, 7-0, 2:02. Tigers on top early here in the Battle of 49.
Highway 49 battle, and that kick, just looking to see, is that Braden Sellers with the kick, I believe. Is that number 10?
Sellers?
Yeah. I think that's who kicked it. Yeah.
Yep, it's Sellers.
7-0, and that was one of the things that Tigers did well in that. They milked the clock too. There's 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Each team's had one possession.
Yeah.
It kind of at this rate, each team would get
about 4 possessions.
Well, let's see. There'll be a second possession for Central Cabarrus here. Mount will get the ball back in the second quarter, so maybe 8 total possessions. I think that won't happen. We'll have some penalties and some quick plays, but
I can agree with you on that. But Mount Pleasant, one of the teams, and still, so far from what we've seen, makes the teams they play have every possession matter. That's exactly what they did last year by running the football. Ended up winning the conference last year because of it. It makes the other team, when they get the ball, have to score.
Now, I think North Stanley got the conference last year.
Did they?
But, yeah, they played
right.
here,
they
kind
played
of
here.
a game that was kind of a showdown situation.
Yep, it was the last one of the year. It was between North Stanley, the Comets, and they ended up winning it. You are correct on that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we got a bobble, and jumping on it is Mount Pleasant.
Mount
and they get the ball
ball
back.
Wow.
And a great play by Mount Pleasant is they just had a little pooch punt there, and we got a player down here for Central, and players pointing pretty quick at him to get over to him. So hopefully everything okay there.
The kicker hit one of those sidewinding balls. It got up in the air, but it's spinning sideways. It's kind of like a Frisbee, except it's not flat. When it hits the ground, it's spinning. You don't know which direction it's going to go. It hit right at the Central Cabarrus player's foot, and it skipped around, just kind of spun back, almost like the backspin. And there were 2 Tigers there, 1 Viking, and I believe – did you see who fell on it?
I didn't see who fell on the ball.
But
I could not tell.
That's a big, big play because Central Cabarrus in their first drive had a really good drive. They had a good play. A good defensive play turned that interception from a touchdown to an interception. So if you're a Central Cabarrus fan, you can say, well, we had a good drive. We have not seen a lot of that all season, and you know that's an encouraging thing, even though it ended in no points.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It was a great drive. They moved the ball down the field. It was a solid throw. I mean, he missed it just by not even a second, just milliseconds. If that ball would have been there a little bit earlier, he would have had it as the injured Viking is up, getting help, heading to the sidelines. It looks like Is that a number 10, Mark?
It's hard to see. I think there's somebody's got a hand in the back, and
Yeah,
I can't
tell. We won't say a name on that injury just so we don't pronounce the wrong name. It was tough to tell there for that one.
He just slammed something down as he was not happy. I think he got caught up underneath all that.
The melee there for the loose ball, the scrap.
Yeah.
As there's now under 2 minutes left here in the first quarter, and the Tigers with the ball at the 28. They bring the slot man out of the slot, hand it off to him, and he's brought down in the backfield. That's going to be Aiden Smith. Moves the ball back to the 32 now.
Good defensive play there. Kind of shooting the gap was number 61, Infinite Morrow. Morrow just made a really nice play, but had to go off because his helmet popped off.
Not going to lie to you, Mark, there. I was watching the thing, and I saw these footballs getting tossed out by the cheerleaders.
I thought it was a flag, too. Yeah, little yellow footballs that being thrown in the student section.
I thought it was a flag there, and I was like, whoa, hold on, what do we got going on? As we're lined up for a 2nd and 13 here. They line up with a wing back to the right of Smith and 3 receivers to the left. The quarterback of Black goes up, directs traffic. Now moves a man in motion, gives it to Regal. Regal up the hash mark, and he fights forward back to the original line of scrimmage.
And what they did, they brought Regal in motion, and he's kind of in an arcing motion. So what that does is he's kind of arcing into the backfield. It's not a straight just fly or jet sweep straight across. So he's got some momentum almost build up when he takes that handoff, and he just cuts it upfield and almost like a little sweep.
Smith in motion. Black set to throw. Looks into the flat. That's going to be caught by Smith, who takes a shot short of the 10. But a first down for the Tigers as he comes out of the wingback spot on the right there, Mark. Goes left, catches in the flat, and runs it all the way inside the Pizza Hut red zone to the 11.
Good throw. He had to put it right in the spot, and he just put it right where the receiver ran to it. Good coverage inside, but the outside, he was running away from the defender and just put it right in front of him.
There's the handoff up the middle and just short of the goal line.
Aiden Smith again, I believe.
So I didn't catch the number on that one where he took off. It looks like it's 11. Yes, that is Aiden Smith with the carry. So a first down there for Mount Pleasant from the 1. Moves Smith in motion. They give it to Smith. Smith, left side. He's in there for the 2nd touchdown of the day for the Tigers as time expires here in the first quarter. Mount Pleasant strikes yet again to make it 13-0 in the battle of 49. And that kickoff miscue for Central Cabarrus shows 6 on the board right now for Mount Pleasant. Pending the extra point here should be Braden Sellers, the kicker. That one is up, and it is good. So the score now 14-0, the end of 1 mark. And so far, this Mount Pleasant team looking like we thought they would.
3 possessions in the game, 1 for Central Cabarrus, 2 for Mount Pleasant, and Mount Pleasant is 2 for 2. Central Cabarrus 0 for 1.
And we saw
two really big plays. And I don't know if you count that as a turnover where you lost essentially the free kick on the kickoff, and that's just a tough play. You got, and I think the player who was injured and went off that we saw was so disgusted when he got to the sideline. I think he may have been mad at himself too that he was not able to handle that kickoff. Yeah,
it was a tough position to be in there with that ball spinning, like you said, just unable to bring it in. And I agree with you. I don't know if you call it a turnover. I think that's just a special teams miscue there. Just kind of happens sometimes in high school sports. And
when you got to catch it in the fly. Don't let it bounce.
As we switch now directions after the end of 1, Mount Pleasant to kick off from right to left. Central to work from left to right here in this second quarter.
Tigers are moving toward the scoreboard end of the stadium, the Andrew Sides Memorial scoreboard, which is down in the horseshoe toward the school, which is up on the hill. If you've been to Michael John Stadium, you're on Larry Honeycutt Field.
We await the kick. This one again, a spiral kick that they're going to get under this time and field it. Gets a hole, turns it up field, and a good return there. As they get that one and make some good yardage to start this drive is Sonari Howard.
Yeah, Howard caught that on a dead run and had a good crease. One of the things Central Cabarrus has had a strong return game so far this season. That may be the strength of their season so far through 2 games. And you can see there with some of those speedy guys in the back who hit the crease really, really fast.
And he did. He hit that crease. He fielded the ball at about the 30 and made it all the way up to midfield with it just short of it at the 49.
Hey, you got to be patient. You got to work your offense. You can't score 2 touchdowns on one play.
There's a lot of teams
just
that
like
wish
in
they
basketball, there's no 15-point shot or anything like that.
There's a lot of places that wish they could, as it looks like a player is very close here from Mount Pleasant to being in the neutral zone.
Yeah, he was right on it. That's the man who made the tackle, too.
In there to make the stop. Big number 62 in there to make that stop for Central. Going to be Paul Neal, ball carrier. Oh, I looked on the wrong sheet.
Yeah, I think it's Maddox Barrier coming up, making the hit there, and also 62, Justin Scott.
There you go. That's the one I was looking for, was Justin Scott. That's who I missed. I looked at the wrong sheet, the ball carrier there.
Now they're showing blitz, right? They're showing run blitz here with second down and long. They'll back out of it a little bit.
Flag flies in as they jump into the neutral zone there, trying to get the hard count. That should be a free 5 for Central, as that ball will move forward and make this second down easier after falling behind the sticks there on the first down run that lost yardage.
Yeah, second and 8's a lot better than second and 13.
As Rogers lines up, puts 2 receivers far left, 1 to the right. There's the snap to Rogers, sets his feet, looks to throw, looks left side, got a guy. He makes the catch far side of the field, and he's taken off to the end zone as Chinua. And a quick strike there from the Vikings as Chinua.
Zebo Chinua I thought Dempsey was ready to intercept it, and Chinua just stepped in front of him for the touchdown. What's that, 49-yarder?
48. Yeah, 49, you're right. They crossed midfield. I was thinking it was 51, but they just went across midfield, 49. So a 49-yard touchdown strike. And we saw them do this right here last week, Mark. They line up in this style, and then sometimes they'll audible into the kick, and sometimes they'll stay where they are and run the play. Looking towards the sideline, and they're going to run into the kick this time. So they will decide to kick it here. There's the snap, the kick. It's up, and it is good.
So Cossack with the kick, and
Cossack buries that one to make the score 14-7 with 11 minutes remaining here in the second quarter, and a 1-minute strike there.
Well, that's what the doctor ordered for Central Cabarrus. You had to have something positive happen. You have a good kickoff return, you get a lost play, but then a penalty, and then a good shot. That's a beautifully thrown ball. Arced it up, gorgeous. Allowed Chinua to run under it. I literally thought Dempsey was getting ready to pick it off again, and the next thing you know, number 4 is running into the end zone.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was about to happen. I saw Dempsey standing there, and I think Dempsey thought he had a gift coming right to his hands.
Yeah, he was sitting there almost like a punt returner, and
he thought he was getting a gift, and then all of a sudden, Chinua turned the jets on, which we've seen Chinua, a speedy wide receiver, make plays, and jumps right in front of that one and shortcuts him. And like you said, with Dempsey just standing there flat foot, there was nothing he could do, and Chinua just streaks it right into the end zone.
Got to keep your feet moving.
That's a big key. As we're set to kick this one off after the 49-yard touchdown strike, Dempsey back deep to receive. And Jackson Burris back deep. Burris near side, Dempsey far. It goes far side towards Dempsey. Dempsey lets it bounce. He fields it at the 3. Comes up this way, across the far hash, finds a seam, up the middle, across the numbers, far side of the field. One man to beat. He beats him. He's inside the 40, all the way up to the 30, and Ethan Dempsey taking the kick return back to the house.
97 yards, I believe, unofficially.
As Ethan Dempsey takes it back and says, we'll go back up 14. The offense doesn't even have to touch the field for the Tigers, as they strike in 16 seconds.
Dempsey was letting the ball. He thought it might go out of bounds, and then at the last second, he decided, hey, this is going to stay. This might stop. I better pick it up. It popped right up to him. He got a good block about the 10-yard line, one of the pursuers, And when he got that block at the 10, he got right back in the middle of the field, and it was just a foot race.
Yeah, and he stayed on that far hash, working from right to left, and just turned it upfield, made one cut out towards the far hash in the Central Cabarrus sideline, and he took it to the house, and he was off for the races, and the extra point was good there by Mount Pleasant. Braylon Sellers makes the score 21-7, and they only needed 16 seconds before they punched that one in there.
Wow, I tell you what, that's something. That's something there, boy. We've had back-to-back plays with just a 49-yard pass play, a 97-yard kick return.
Yeah, I didn't have that in the.
Was that on your bingo card?
I didn't have that on my bingo card, my Rolodex. I didn't even have that on my prep sheet. I had that nowhere to happen tonight on that, especially back-to-back like that. So pretty cool to see that happen back-to-back as there's 10:44 left here in the second quarter with a score of 21-7. Mount Pleasant on top, kicking this one back off to Central Cabarrus from right to left.
Well, both teams have had 3 possessions from scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Actually, Central's only had 2.
Central's had 2. That was their. Well, that would be.
Well, Mount Pleasant's only had 2. So
now.
Yeah, so
because that kick return. So each team 2 possessions so far. There's the kick. It's a long, high kick. It's going to bounce into the end zone and become a touchback. They'll move the ball out to the 20.
They were all sucked up to try to get a possible short kick, and he just boomed it over their heads.
And it's so hard to keep up. Now, let's see here, Mark. How hard is it for you to keep up with who gets the ball where in what one? Because think about it. You get it at the 20 in high school, the 25 in college. You get it at the 30 in the NFL. So everybody gets in a different spot after a touchback.
They keep fooling with some of the kickoff rules. High school has been fairly consistent on their rules.
High school has.
It's the end zone. They don't allow you to return it.
Yep.
I'm never really sure why that is.
Yeah, I don't know either, unless it's just a safety reasoning behind just the collision that you have at such high speeds as they move a man in motion from right to left. They'll keep it in Rogers' hands, who goes left side across the numbers, finds a little bit of a block and runs out of bounds short of the 30 in the line to gain. I'll mark him at the 27.
Rogers got good feet. Boy, he just moved motoring.
Lucas Rogers, only a junior, a quarterback for Central Cabarrus. That stops the clock with 10:37.
I don't think we saw him at all the first 2 games of the season.
No, we did not. Even when we had the injury there to Dylan Ryan, they put in a different quarterback.
Yeah,
they
we had
Pate. Yeah.
Bryson Pate. And Pate was throwing in pregame warm-ups, too.
And him and Clay had a chance last week to make some big plays as Rogers throws this one, and this one's bobbled and picked off. And
they dropped it. That's a double drop there. Hot potato.
As I was in the hands of the intended target there of McCorkle, and then bounced out of the hands of McCorkle and almost landed in the hands of Estevez.
Yeah, Michael Estevez, he could see too much green grass between the goal line and him, and he dropped it.
There was a lot of green grass there. If he picked that one off, he was headed to the house for a pick 6, but instead it falls in an incompletion and brings up a 3rd down and 3 here for Central Cabarrus with the ball at their own 27. There is the snap. They give it off to James, who's on the carry left side. And he's brought down.
I believe that's Chinway.
Oh, that's 4. Yep, that is Chinwall.
Excuse me.
That is 4. So Chinwall with the carry. And
boy, Mount Pleasant, they read that quickly and just it was a one-on-one tackle. Never had a chance to turn it upfield.
No, he turned, and when he turned, there was a lot of blue sitting there waiting on him. Back deep to receive here, standing close to midfield, Ethan Dempsey from Mount Pleasant.
I think Dylan Ryan's playing for the first time. He's back there as the punter. Yeah, this is danger time too for Central Cabarrus. You do not want to kick unless it's really, really high in the direction of Dempsey.
As Ryan gets the snap, gets it off, and it's a good punt. Left side takes a bounce for Central. See where they mark it out of bounds at here, and the official marks it right at midfield, and that's where the Tigers.
A little better mark than that one we saw Saturday over at Central, where they we had a play at Central last Saturday. They marked the ball at the 50-yard line, but it was like a triangle. I don't know how he marked it as badly as he did, because it was the 50. It hit a trash can about 10 yards off the field at the 50, and it was kicked. And it was kicked, from back inside the 20-yard line.
And he still marked it right at the 50.
He marked it at the 50, even though it hit the trash can about on the fly.
On the fly, yeah. And they move Dempsey in motion from left to right. They give it to Dempsey, who looks for a hole, finds nothing, and jumps forward and gets back to the line of scrimmage. And real quick, Mark, I just happened to look at some college sports going on right now. Indiana in action against Western Illinois. There's still 9:40 left in the first half, and the Indiana Hoosiers are leading 35-0.
Hoosiers will be hosting the Charlotte 49ers later this season.
That'll be a good one to watch. Charlotte in action Saturday at Kenan Stadium at UNC.
3:40 kickoff, I believe, is the. I'm heading that way.
2nd and 10 here. Give it off to Dempsey, who comes out of the slot. They try to make something happen. He's fighting for it as far as he can. He's actually going to lose a couple, as there was a swarm of Vikings there to collect him back at the 48.
On this possession, Central Cabarrus is winning the battle up front. They're getting penetration, and when they get penetration, you can't come straight up to that line of scrimmage. You have to run around them or find a way to run inside of them. When they're running inside, there's somebody there to plug that hole.
See if they unleash the arm there of their junior quarterback, Colin Black. Move a man in motion. Black gives the ball off to the ball carrier there of Smith. Smith catches
just
the
short.
edge, and he's just
short of the first. This is 4-down territory here, I believe. I don't think you're going to punt this at all.
No, they're going to move the chains. I think they're going to give him a courteous spot here. It looked like he was short.
He got 1.5 yards on that spot.
Yes, he did, as they move the ball and spot it at the 40 and give him a first down, and that's a big courteous spot there.
Maybe we bragged about the official's spot on that punt a little quick. I swear to you, I thought he hit the ground at the 41.
I thought he was at the 41, 41 and a half, but they give it to him at the 40. It's enough for the first down, and the Tigers continue this drive with 7:45 left here in the first half. They line up trips right. They put Aiden Smith as a wingback left. They move Regal in motion out of the slot. Black set to throw. Throws one up in the air. Got a man open and overthrows the target as he's trying to get that one in the hands of one of his receivers there of Jackson Burris.
Did not have time to throw. He had to let it fly and put it up. He was getting hit as he threw it. The defender fell down. And, boy, I know Colin Black is just, man, if I could have just had just a half more second and he would have been walking into the end zone.
As he was wide open was Burris, and he just overthrew him by about 1 yard to 1.5 yards as they move a man in motion, reverse it to Smith. Smith goes up the middle, and he gets the ball up to the 37.
I tell you what, it's a real battle up front. These two offensive and defensive lines are really going to war.
It's one time blue jerseys win, one time white jerseys win, and it's just a battle, like you said, Mark, up front as we face a 3rd down and 7 here with the ball spotted at the 37. They put 2 receivers right. They give the ball, they fake it and jumps up and blocks it and bats it down.
That looks like a volleyball play there for Central Cabarrus as that ball was spiked by
Ash Morrow.
Yeah, Morrow. He got up and just spiked it right back in Black's face.
And they're going to go for it here on a 4th and 7. You're kind of in no man's land with the ball at the Vikings 37. Too far to kick it. You don't want to punt it because it's such a short distance. So a 4th down and 7 attempt here. They line up 2 receivers right. Now they put Regal as a wingback, so a wingback each direction. Black does punt it, decides to punt it quick. It's high and in the air, takes a bounce towards the sideline, inside the 20 and a roll dead near the 17-yard line.
That does 2 things. It takes Central Cabarrus out of a return position because they have really good punt returners, and you get a good roll there. You give them something to think about.
Yeah, and it was a quick decision, as you see. He just just catch, punt quick, and the ball actually is spotted at the 18. So,
that may have been pre-called. It also may have been, okay, read this. If you've got this, take it. If not, move into the quarter, quick kick.
6:50 left here, first half. The Vikings with the ball, trying to dial back into this one as they're down 14. Moves a man in motion. They give it to the ball carrier, James, who goes up the middle, and James picks up 1 and gets it to the 19. James, a short, small, shifty back there that be tough to find behind that offensive line, as small as he is, but he doesn't let his size stop him. He is he's a little fighter and just fights as far as he can and just keeps going. Brings up a 2nd and 9 here with the ball spotted at the 24, or the 19. There's the ball to James again. James keeps his legs turning, and he battles and pulls the pile with him up to the 25. And James goes left side, and he's able to pull some guys with him there. It's going to make it a 3rd down and 3 here for the Vikings. Is Mount Pleasant trying to make a stop here deep in Vikings territory with under 6 left here in the first half.
Don't want to have to kick it back.
2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. It moves a man in motion from the right side to the left side. That's going to be McCorkle. Now slows up and looks towards the sideline is Rogers. Back judge still now just raising his hand, so 10 on the play clock. Gives it off to the back. Back swarmed up in the backfield, but bounces off of it is James. James finds a seam, spins, still running up the hashes, and before he's brought down just short of midfield at the 49.
Wow, that's a big play. Got an injured Paul Coble down for Central Cabarrus at about the 35-yard line.
It looked like James was going to be brought down in the backfield there, Mark, when he ran into that pile, and then all of a sudden he just squirted out and took off.
You like that forward progress call right there down on the goal line Saturday. Remember the play that, look, we thought Central Cabarrus had scored potentially the tying or winning touchdown in the final seconds, only to have them say forward progress stopped at the 1.
But earlier that game, they called no forward progress when we had the player who was near midfield lost
slung
the
about 15 yards backwards.
Exactly. So
out to the 49-yard line, Coble's walking off the field with some of the trainers. Halftime over at J.M. Robinson. J.M. Robinson 28. Concord, I don't believe, is Concord nothing. That's on your Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard.
I have one here from who we called last week, Piedmont there. Piedmont facing Jesse Carson tonight. Carson leads that one 22-7 over Piedmont.
So first down, Central Cabarrus out near midfield. 21-7. Mount Pleasant with the lead.
Clock running down to 5. They got trips right. Rogers loses that one in his hand and jumps back on it back at the 40 as he went to throw it, and that one just slipped out of his hand. And Mark, that one there might have had something to do with weather. This is one of the first cooler nights we've had yet this year. Most of the nights we've had.
We've seen Central Cabarrus drop the ball a lot this year, like in situations like that, dropping snaps, and I don't know if they're just not used to the football they're using, if it's a slick football.
They lose that one there, backs them up to the 40. It's going to make it a 2nd down and 19. There is a snap. Fakes the handoff to James. Rogers still with it, rolling to his right, dumps it off, and that one dropped there as it was in the hands of the intended target. Just couldn't hold on to it, Josh Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory thought, I've got this, and I'm going to turn. I may get hit, but I'm going to try to get to midfield. And he was trying to protect himself and may have heard footsteps when he dropped it. We've seen a lot of drop balls today.
We have seen a lot of dropped footballs. There's 4:13 left here first half. Facing a 3rd down and 19 is Central Cabarrus. And at this moment, you're kind of thinking, do we just run it and try to chew some clock so Mount Pleasant doesn't have as much time, or do you decide to go for the bomb?
Don't forget, we got the BenMonted.com halftime report coming up. Shop, click, and drive. BenMonted.com.
Moves James in motion from left to right, so he has trips right, empty left.
Good spot if you have a little wide receiver screen to try to throw it out there to James.
Rogers
they're going to go downfield.
Steps back. Pressure starts to get to him. Rogers rolls to his right, dancing around back at his own 25, and he's going to be brought down back near his own 20, probably close to the 21 is where they'll mark him. But that Tiger defense stormed right through the middle of that offensive line.
Had no chance. Once the pocket was broken, he tried to run, and he made the mistake of running backwards. When he ran backwards, he didn't have anywhere to go, and there was just more pursuit coming.
Ball spotted at the 22. Clock running, though. That's the biggest thing that comes out of that play for Central Cabarrus is it didn't stop the clock, so if they just hold this as long as they can, it gives left time to the Tigers as there's 3.5 left here in the first half.
Is anywhere in Cabarrus County running the play clock on the field?
I have not seen anywhere yet. As the Tigers rushing one on late there. I can't tell who that is back deep to receive. It doesn't look like it's Dempsey, but it might be. Could be Aiden Smith. It's tough to see with where he's standing at.
Yeah, I can't.
It's a low line drive punt headed towards the sideline.
Caught on the sideline and dropped by number 78 for the Tigers out of bounds. That was Jacob McCoy.
And they'll spot it at the, where are they putting it at, the 45? The 40. They spotted at the 40, and the one back to receive it was...
I think it was Colin Black, wasn't it?
Or was Regal.
It? Regal,
13,
okay,
yeah.
Regal, okay.
It was 13 of Regal there that was back there. I couldn't tell who that was back there until he...
Another Central Cabarrus player down at the 20-yard line.
3:06 remaining here, and as you heard Mark say, coming up at halftime, the Ben Minot Shop Click and Drive halftime show. We'll give you updates on our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard from games going on around the state of North Carolina and update you guys on high school football games, maybe even talk a little college. And
oh, yeah,
hey,
absolutely. Go.
There's some NFL going on tonight, but it's not here in the States. It's over in Brazil. So we'll talk
Brazil?
Brazil, it sounds a little weird, right?
Isn't that the place where you get those big Christmas nuts?
Yes, it is.
With the Brazil nuts?
Yes, sir, it is. As we have a little action going on over there tonight as well between the Eagles and the Packers. So we'll give some updates on that one as well at halftime.
Brazil nut may be the hardest thing in the world to get out of the shell.
Those things are tough.
You can take a hammer and bang on it.
As they flip this one over to Dempsey, who works right down the right hash, and he'll pick up a little bit there and get the ball up to the 37, so he'll pick up 3.
Central Cabarrus set an edge there and forced him to cut back inside. He did get some positive yardage, but if you don't set that corner, he's down the sideline.
If I remember correctly, I believe Mount Pleasant still has do they have all 3 timeouts, or they'll have 2? I think they might have 3. I don't remember. The board over there is a little messed up on their side.
Well, I can't tell.
As they hand this one off right up the middle, and fighting forward is Regal, as Regal gets it up to the 32.
So it's going to bring up third down.
Third down and about a yard to a half a yard here. Not very far to go for Regal.
So you got 2 plays to make this. You got more than 2 minutes left and a 2-touchdown lead.
Moves Dempsey in motion, and flags fly from everywhere. Back judge, line judge, and that's going to be a false start on the offense. It's going to make it now a 3rd down and 7 mark, and you were in a manageable spot there with a 3rd down and 1.5. Now you're at about a 3rd down and 7. Makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, that was not what you wanted.
5-yard penalty assessed against the Tigers. It will be a 3rd down and 7.
So you're still in 2-down territory here, though.
Yeah, definitely.
So you make half of it this time. You can make half of it the next time.
And moves Aiden Smith out of the wingback slot right side. He comes left side, finds a seam, and he fights forward up to the 25, and that's enough for the 1st down as they run that wingback yet again, moving from the right side across to the left side, and boom, finds a seam on the edge and turns it upfield.
Everybody did a good job blocking up front, and then Regal came up, number 13, and just sealed it at the corner. And when that pursuit came, he was just standing right there, and 13 just like a little blindside pick.
And a timeout called on the field here.
Injured player again,
Is
looks
it?
like.
Oh,
139 left, and it's Mount Pleasant 21, Central Cabarrus 7. An exciting first half. Both teams have had a couple of really big plays. A 97-yard kickoff return by Ethan Dempsey. We've got
49-yard catch and throw.
Lucas Rogers throwing that one to
Chinua. That's a great name, Chinua.
Yekbu Chinua.
Yeah, it's such a great name.
Yeah. I feel really bad that we butchered his name for 3 weeks in a row now.
Yeah, we did a little bit. We messed it up a little bit, and then we were over there at Central, and because we were calling him, what was it, Chua or something? Chinway or something like that, and they were like, it's Chinua.
Chinua.
Gotcha. So we started calling him the correct name. Hopefully it's pretty close at least. Is the clock now down to 1:38 and running after the 1st down run there from Aiden Smith. They give it to Regal, who goes right side, right off the right tackle, and he's brought down right at the 19, and they'll make a stop at the Pizza Hut Red Zone. They're just picking up dinner or a little snack before they head to the locker room, right, Mark?
PizzaHut.com. Our friends Doug Cleveland and company with Carolina Pizza Hut.
As they hand this one off to Regal, goes right side, follows the blocker, finds the edge, gets through the seam, and turns it in there for a touchdown as Jacob Regal is in there with 1:09 left. And Regal runs that one from 19 yards out to make it 27-7 here as the Tigers extend the lead right before half. And don't forget, Mount Pleasant will receive the second half kick mark here as they won the toss and decided to defer.
Got a score coming in from West Cabarrus. We'll tell you after this extra point.
As Braden Sellers lines up, there's the snap, the place, the kick, it's up, and it is good. The score, 28-7, 1:09 left here, first half, as the Mount Pleasant Tigers on top of the Central Cabarrus Vikings.
At halftime, here on their Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard, Olympic 27, West Cabarrus 14. I think that one's being played over near my house at West Cabarrus, yeah.
It is at West Cabarrus. Olympic 2-0 on the year. West Cabarrus 1-1. And West Cabarrus got their first win against Northwest this year. They played them 4 times. Were 0-4. They beat them for the first time this year to start the season. And that's a 3A. That's a 4A versus a 3A. And they were beat every time, West being the 4A and Central being the 3.
You mean Northwest?
Northwest being the 3.
Northwest has been really good the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes, they have.
They looked really good last night against A.L. Brown.
And they were even good back when Coach Gentry was there.
Yeah.
Gentry was there, and then Gentry left, went over to West, coached at West for 1 year,
then went
stepped
to Hopewell.
away, and now he's at Hopewell. So, and Hopewell's slowly turning around this year, as Hopewell's 1-1 on the season. So Hopewell battling tough as well with Coach Gentry, who left there a couple of years ago, but they still had a great program even after he left.
Former Cabarrus coach at J.M. Robinson won a state title last year in 3A. Hickory coach Joe Glass.
Really? I did not know that. That one I did not know. As Weddington in action tonight as well, though. I said they're against West Forsyth, and they were the defending 4A state champions. As this one kicked off from right to left, and it goes over the head of the Vikings and bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Yeah, Weddington versus West Forsyth, pair of unbeatens in that one. And I get to go home. I live up in the Triangle area, and I go home and I turn on the Frenzy, and I watch those guys on there, and I get all the highlights from watching all that as well. So I get my highlights down here in Charlotte, then I go home and I watch all the highlights up in the Triad as well. So I can't get enough high school football.
Love high school football. I like football in general. So.
Oh, I love it. Tomorrow, my plans are already made. We're watching college football all day. Sunday, for sure, the NFL. As we're set here with 1:09, 1st and 10 after the touchback, ball spot at the 20. Give the ball off to the ball carrier there. It looks like that one was James, but I could not tell if that's who it was. It could have been Chinwall.
Got about 3 on the play.
That is James with the carry, and he'll pick up 3.
Central Cabarrus in no hurry. They look like they might, if they can't get a big play here, try to regroup at halftime. Coming up at halftime, looks like the Mount Pleasant Marching Tigers will be out on the field playing.
Always do a phenomenal job at halftime.
Or is that Central Cabarrus? Looks like they got green shirts on.
It might be Central out there, to be honest
with you. Or
they're
combined.
As there is the snap, and they give it off to James, and James buried the second he got that one. He got a yard up to the 25, but he took a lick when he got that one. Clock down to 20.
I think these bands may be combined.
That'd be cool. That'd be super cool if they decided to do that. Ball up to the 20, 12 on the game clock. They're going to
just let it run out. That'll be the end of the half.
I think that's the right thing to do here. Nobody's in any hurry to go anywhere, and it's just down to 2. Nobody makes a movement. The Tigers start heading towards the locker room. Central starts heading towards the back of the end zone near the scoreboard as we head to halftime here in Mount Pleasant. The score, 28-7. Mount Pleasant on top of Central Cabarrus as we head into our Ben Minnick Shop Click and Drive halftime show.
28-7. We saw a good drive from Central Cabarrus on their first drive, but a turnover when Dempsey intercepted in the end zone. We saw the Tigers take it 80 yards to make it 7-0. So that was a big play. And then immediately on the ensuing kickoff after the 80-yard drive, a funky-looking kick that hit and just kind of squibbled around at the foot of a Central Cabarrus returner. Is recovered by Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant punches it in right after that on a short drive. I wrote it down as a 30-yard drive. I didn't get the exact yardage.
That sounds about right.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. So the Tigers very quickly through one quarter went up 14-0. Sellers getting the kick. Regal with the 1-yard touchdown run, and then Aiden Smith with a 1-yard touchdown run, and then a big play. We saw a great kick return. I believe it was Howard with the kickoff return out near midfield. Out across midfield.
Yep.
And then quarterback Lucas Rogers put a beautiful ball that Chinwalk caught. We thought might be thrown up and intercepted. It's double coverage, but he just stepped in front of the defender who had kind of standing there waiting on it and ran into the end zone, a 49-yard play, kick by Cossack, and it made it 14-7. The ensuing kickoff goes down the far sideline as we look at the action. It looked like it might be going out of bounds. Ethan Dempsey's over there. He's looking at it, and he decides to pick it up at the 3-yard line. Now, most of the time when things like that happen, you think, oh, no, what's going to happen here? Dempsey turned around, headed back upfield, back toward the middle of the field, got a block at about the 10-yard line, and then just picked up a picket line all the way till he got out toward midfield, head to the right sideline, beat 2 men, and ran it into the end zone for a 97-yard touchdown return. That made it 21-7 with 10:44 left in the second quarter. Mount Pleasant then got football back later on after Central Cabarrus possession. Regal with a 19-yard run. Sellers with the kick. That was with 1:09 left in the half, 28-7, and that's where we stand here at the BenMinded.com halftime report.
Yeah, it's been a very entertaining first half. Like you just said, as you all broke it down for us all there, Mark, it has been entertaining as the scoreboard shows. 28-7. Mount Pleasant on top. And last year these two teams faced off, and Mount Pleasant was victorious in this matchup last year. They were able to win it. Bring that up real quick. I'll tell you the score to that one. Last year the score was, well, maybe I'll find it, Mark. I thought I had it. Not sure what it was. I'll find here it is, 31-14. So they beat them 31-14 last year, and Mount Pleasant trying to make it back-to-back wins here as the bands get set up to perform here at halftime. And as you said, Mark, it looks like it might be a little bit of both schools there. I see some green out there.
Yeah, I think that's a. Well, did they say no? That looks like just blue shirts are walking off the field.
It might just be Central doing this tonight then.
Do you see any Mount Pleasant people?
Well, the back of those gray shirts look like they have.
Oh no, the Mount Pleasant band's down here. So this is Central Cabarrus. You know that it's a bad night when James and I can't tell blue from green. And
because I thought it was them when I looked at the back of the shirts for Central, it looked like it had an M and a P on it.
Well, a couple of their Wranglers or whoever's moving their stuff in and out all have blue shirts on.
Yep, and that as well. I agree.
Is Wrangler the right word for that?
You can call it the Wrangler. It sounds right if you ask me. Trying to make sure, or we could say the formation setter, because they're trying to get the formation set there so they look right while they're doing all this. How about we call them the quarterback?
Maybe it's the grips.
It could be the grips.
They're carrying stuff out. Well, let's take a look at the Cannon Pharmacy's scoreboard, see if we got what we've got coming in. Of course, we've had score coming in already from J.M. Robinson, John Von Cannon, Chris Hudson over there calling the action as the Spiders and the Bulldogs battle 28-0 in favor of J.M. Robinson. J.M. Robinson's coming into the game outscoring their opponents 80-16, and it's gotten even worse at halftime after that first half with Concord.
And now that you bring that up, I have not got an update on this yet. I'll see if you have. Maybe you have. Last week, Mount Pleasant. Last week, Robinson was in action after the delay on Monday about 6 o'clock. And two of their players collided and took each other out there. And one of them stayed down for a while, and they had to bring medics out there and take him off in an ambulance. That player, number 8, the transfer from Hickory Ridge, Isaiah Johnson. And He was injured. Not sure if there has been any updates on him, but if he's listening or anybody's listening, hopefully for a speedy recovery and hopefully
absolutely.
everything comes back safe with him and Coach Seidel and everybody. And I have an update here on the Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. This one from Game of Inches. I happened to look on there, and it says, strikes first. C.J. Bevels breaks free, 69-yard touchdown return on a kickoff to put West Forsyth on top of Weddington. So Weddington down to West Forsyth. They traveled up there to face off against them and down early.
I don't know where we are on this one, but Mooresville is just annihilating West Rowan, 52-0. Mike London from the Salisbury Post reporting that one. And
I got it at halftime.
So at halftime, I'm going to be a quick second half. That'll be a running clock.
Yeah, I got a couple here for you, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
Providence 56, Hunter Huss 6, halftime. Latin 21, Cannon nothing, halftime. Grayson, the school from Georgia that traveled up to face Mallard Creek's up 28-7 at halftime. Indy and Charlotte Christian 14-7, they're at halftime. Asheville, Lake Norman 15-3 at half. Asheville on top.
The Cougars.
Myers Park trying to get their first win of the year as they're 0-2 to start the season. They're beating Sun Valley now 23-7 at the moment, trying to get their first win. Catholic on top of Providence Day. Providence Day was Sweet 16 number 1 when the season started. Took the loss to Weddington. What was it?
I think it was Weddington,
to Weddington to start the year. They fell to number 2, now in trouble tonight as they are down at halftime to Charlotte Catholic 9-7. But I also saw a thing there that there was an injury to the Providence Day 5-star All-American David Sanders, who was hurt with only 3.2 seconds left in the first half. So a big loss there for Providence Day as Sanders limped off the field with that right leg injury.
Is that the kid with the NIL money?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the one with the NIL money.
Huff 14, Carolina Forest nothing. That's 10 minutes left in the third quarter.
Porter Ridge, it's 40 minutes ago, so I don't know how up to date that one is. I don't want to throw that one out there.
Just looking here, I've got Parkwood and East Meck tied 14-14 with about a minute 40 left in the first half.
Getting on the preps here and see what we can find. West Charlotte Cox Mill in action. 28-0 West Charlotte on top of Cox Mill. And there was a little article wrote in the Observer Prep saying that West Charlotte thinks they got their squad this year when they got Littlejohn to come over there as a running back. And West Charlotte seems to think they're going to be one of the ones that competes at that 3A, and they might be on a collision course.
Where was he before? Was he at Chambers?
I can't remember.
Or where was he at?
I can't remember if he was at Chambers or if he was at Robinson. I don't remember where Littlejohn was, but I know I've said that name multiple times.
I want to say that he was over at Chambers, but I'm heading up to Chapel Hill tomorrow. Charlotte versus Carolina. Carolina had a promotion on July 4th, selling tickets for $17.76. So my daughter picked up tickets to the Carolina-Charlotte game.
We're not mad at you for
there's no telling where we're sitting for $17.76 in Kenan Stadium though.
But hey, you got good seats, or you'll be there. That's what matters.
We'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there. I was at the Charlotte James Madison game last weekend, and Charlotte should have had the lead at halftime. They were ahead 7-3, got the ball deep in their own territory with about a minute to go or something. They get a first down or two, and then they throw an interception. They give up a long pass play, and just like that, they're down 9-7 at halftime.
And that's tough when you do that to go into halftime. It's tough for old
Biff Poggi.
Old Biff to get him out of that once that happens.
I was about as disgusted, though, with the Charlotte offense as I've ever been. I can remember one other time I was as disgusted with an offense. My wife and I, Kim, we went to Georgia Tech, and I think it was 85. And we went to Georgia Tech, Carolina. It was a windy day. Carolina couldn't do a thing, and they lost 31-0. I walked out of that stadium, and I probably took Dick Crum's name in vain, the head coach of the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I could definitely see that one being a tough one. If I went and saw the Heels,
I wasn't happy with Biff on Saturday when we left the Charlotte game because I thought the second half was a dink and dunk, and they just
Yeah,
it was more of the same last year where they couldn't get in the end zone and they averaged 17 points a game. So
Yeah, that second half definitely looked different for Charlotte than it did in the first half. Real quick, I got a couple more updates
yeah, go
here for you,
ahead
Mark.
here.
I got a couple more for you. Chambers and Glenn, 2 powerhouse programs in the state. Glenn leads that one 12-7. Cardinal Gibbons, Richmond, 2 more powerhouses, a bunch of state championships between them. 17-7, that's at halftime for those guys as well. Providence blasting Hunter Huss 56-6.
Hold it.
Olympic, West Cabarrus 27-14 halftime. Well, I now have an update here after it said that West Forsyth strike first. The update from Max Prep says Weddington's on top 17-13. So Weddington leads that one. Crest leads 27-0 over Shelby. One of the matchups down there in Cleveland County. Porter Ridge leads 21-2 over Hickory Ridge. Hickory Ridge and Coach Jupiter Wilson trying to get that first win of the year there, Mark.
Got a score coming in from Stanley County. Charles Curio, our friend over at Stanley News and Press, reports South Stanley 7, Lexington 6. That's 3:15 left in the first quarter. That game may have been a little farther along now, but that's and another score coming in. Albemarle 13, West Stanley 7. That's late second quarter. Again, Charles Curio from Stanley News and Press with those scores.
Trying to bring up the old ESPN app here, the ESPN.
ESPN, that's what I call it.
That's what I call it. So here's one for you. I'll throw this out there for all the listeners. I like to name my animals with middle names.
Okay.
Kind of weird. It's a little weird. So we have a little girl. She's a boxer pit mix. Her name is Arrow McFarland. Her middle name is McFarland.
McFarland, okay.
McFarland. I don't know where it came from. Just came to me one day, and that's what I named her. Well,
Like the guy that created Family Guy or something like that?
Exactly. Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, her name is Arrow McFarland, and we have a golden doodle whose name is Blitz. Well, I decided he's got to come up with a middle name, and I got to think of one. Well, what goes better with Blitz, and where do you watch it at? ESPN. So his middle name is Blitz Espin.
Blitz Espin, okay.
I named my dog Blitz Espin. That is his name. So
I would have called him Safety Blitz.
Safety Blitz. I love it.
Well, the Central Band has played here on the BenMined.com halftime report. They are scurrying off, and they'll be headed over to the sideline. Look how big the crowd has gotten over on Central Cabarrus. They're a little bit of a late arriving crowd today.
Yeah, they got a good crowd that traveled from Central Cabarrus. Not far from here, probably only about, 25-minute ride?
Oh, it's not that long. I would say 7 or 8 miles total.
Probably, yeah. That's probably about right.
May have been a little bit of traffic when you get over there at the Cabarrus County Fairgrounds at Old Airport Road and Highway 49. That's just over the ridge here. If you look back into the darkness to our right, and they have the Cabarrus County Fair started today at 4 o'clock. They'll go to 11 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And then Sunday, I think, and the rest of the week until the weekend will be at 10 o'clock closing. But again, CabarrusCountyFair.com to get all the information. I always go out. Love the exhibits and the animals. And one of my favorites is always the bees and the beekeepers. So I love honey and go out there and look at those bees. Sometimes I buy honey and sometimes I don't. It depends on how much I've already spent that night. So.
Fresh honey is the best way to get honey for sure.
Fresh local honey. But that's the Cabarrus County Fair going on. They'll go on through the 14th. So go to CabarrusCountyFair.com. If you go out there early, you can see the butterfly encounter. Mm-hmm. Now, the butterflies kind of go to sleep and die down as the sun goes down. So if you don't get out there early, you won't see much. But you go into this enclosure and all these flowers and stuff, and there's all kinds of butterflies. And I'm always sweaty, and they'll light on me and just start licking sweat up. They love that for whatever reason.
That's awesome.
But,
that'd be cool. My grandmother was a huge butterfly fan, so she would have really enjoyed going to doing that, and I'm sure it's fun to go and do. Got a couple updates on some college games.
All right.
Told you Indiana was playing Western Illinois. They're up 42-3 at half. The only other college game in action right now is SMU and BYU. SMU trails 6-7. 2 minutes left in the first half. And there's one
That's
more
an
game.
ACC game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
SMU, an ACC team?
SMU is ACC. And then the other game yet to kick off on FS1 kicks off 9 o'clock. Duke at Northwestern, a little ACC Big Ten action there, 9 o'clock kickoff in that one. We are about 2.5 minutes away from the start of the second half here at Mount Pleasant as they lead 28-7 over Central Cabarrus in the battle of 49. And real quick, Mark, while we have a quick second, before we come back on air next time, Thursday is my fiance's birthday. So
wow, okay.
I want to shout her out a happy birthday real quick, tell her happy birthday, and hopefully she enjoys that on Thursday because the next time I'm on air, it'll already be past. So happy birthday to her.
Now you're out of the doghouse.
Now I'm out of the doghouse. I'm not in trouble. I can go home and watch the frenzy and not get in trouble tonight.
In theory.
In theory, yes.
In theory. Well, the second half, as we get ready to go into the second half, let's tell you about some of the sponsors for tonight's broadcast. The Carolina Renaissance Festival. Renaissance Festival's got a job fair coming up tomorrow at the fairgrounds. I believe that's from 10 to 2. Go to renfestinfo.net to find out all the details on that. They have about 350 seasonal jobs at the festival there. And, of course, now you can get your tickets and online for that event that's coming up in October and November. Carolina Pizza Huts, pizzahut.com. Our friends over at Cannon Pharmacy, cannonpharmacies.com. This is, of course, the BenMonnet.com halftime report. Shop, click, and drive, BenMonnet.com. Alec Wilkinson and Jay Wilkinson and all the folks over at Wilkinson Funeral Home proud to support high school athletics and their broadcast this year. My employer and my friends at the Independent Tribune, independenttribune.com. Jamal Horton will have scores up tonight on the website. And he and Joe Habina putting together some good stuff. I will throw this out for the Independent Tribune, and if you're out there, we're doing a new thing. There's a sponsor as far as with the Independent Tribune for Athlete Spotlight of the Week. We do a little questionnaire. We would email them to the athlete. Mm-hmm. They fill out the questionnaire. We feature them in the papers on Thursday, a male and a female athlete each and every week. Email Jamal with that, and that's the way we can get there. Again, Southern Christmas Show coming up. That's in November. We'll get you more details on that one. That's southernchristmasshow.com.
As we look down here before kickoff, the cheerleaders got the police officer here who's patrolling the stadium to do push-ups right here. I believe he did around 28 of them because that's how many points were on the board for Mount Pleasant. All the girls stood around and cheered, and then you even heard the fans here cheer after he pushed earth for 28 of them. And
yeah, one of the, I guess the deputy who's the resource officer here doing some push-ups. I didn't catch it until you just mentioned it.
It's always cool to see the relationship that these kids make with the resource officers at the school.
One of the biggest drives of the game is always the first drive of the second half. Central Cabarrus will have to kick off to Mount Pleasant, and it's kind of a danger zone for them. And
that one's fielded at the 26, finds a seam, turns it upfield, takes a shot at the 45 before being drugged down. Michael Estevez there. I couldn't see it. I was trying to read the last name. I couldn't see it. I just saw Michael. My sheet was very, very shaded.
Nice return. He fielded it in the air, took it straight up the field, got what he could get. And Tigers start with good field position at the 47. Down 3 scores, Central Cabarrus needs to stop desperately.
Oh, they need a huge stop here. If they stop them on this drive, it could get them right back into it as they move Dempsey from right to left. He gets it, takes it up off the right tackle, and he fights forward across midfield up to the 46.
That's a patient run. He just followed the blockers, waited for the crease, and cut it upfield when he got it.
Mount Pleasant working from right to left here to start the second half. They are already inside Central Cabarrus territory at the 47.
One thing about this offense, too, is timing. You see the man in motion now.
They give it to Smith, who comes off the right side, comes left side, gets around the edge, across the numbers, the sideline, stumbles and gets tripped up by his shoelaces, almost stayed on his feet. But he falls forward and falls down at the 28-yard line in a huge run from Smith.
Yeah, and she said, put him in motion. And you got to be in the right spot. And he's got a full head of steam when he gets that ball. He's sprinting to the corner.
Yeah, he runs out of that wingback spot. They line him and Regal up there a lot, and they line him up there again. Smith gets the ball. This time comes left side, cuts it in short, though, up the hash, and fights forward to the 24.
And it's kind of the beautiful thing of this. If you play that to play outside, then there's a cutback lane. There was not a linebacker there, so he's got a good, solid 4-yard gain to the 24.
Makes it a 2nd and 6 here with the ball spotted at the 24. 2 receivers to the left. Fakes the handoff to Regal. Almost
Nearly
picked
intercepted.
off, and it's batted around. They're going to say it was incomplete, but number 6 there for the Vikings is saying he's got it, taking it to the house. It's going to be Kendall Bell. But the official with the white hat waving it incomplete. We have an injured Viking down at the 25, so a timeout on the field with 10:28.
Yeah, we've seen a number of batted passes. That's kind of a little, I don't know if that's just a little RPO or just a little quick hitter, but he's really close to the line of scrimmage when he throws, and it got tipped right back to him.
Yeah, he's definitely close to the line of scrimmage when he releases that there, and there's a lot of guys standing there, and those offensive linemen, they're big guys, tall.
If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. Make it tough.
And we saw that play. I don't know exactly what game I was watching. It might have been the game last night in the NFL. Yeah, it was. It was the NFL game last night. Zay Flowers got open. Not the end of the game, but Zay Flowers got open, working from the right side of the field to the left on a crossing route across the middle. And the linebacker jumps up and throws his hand out as the defensive back was beat. He blocked the ball. That was an easy 7 points for him right there. But just because he got that hand on that ball and jumped and moved his hands like he needed to, he batted that pass down and kept him out of the end zone. And that's the next best thing if you can't get it.
Injured players walked off the field and under his own power now walking away from the training staff, so it looks like he's going to be okay.
So line up Aiden Smith to the left side this time at the wing back spot. Regal going to line up to the right of the quarterback of Colin Black.
Now they get Dempsey out in the slot just a little wider.
Give it to Aiden Smith, who comes off the left side wing back, and that time he gets tripped right at the 25 and falls forward to the 24, back to the line of scrimmage.
They are in field goal range, but I don't think they're going to kick it. I think they're going to go for the juggler here. 4th down and let's call it about 6.5.
4th down and 6.5. You're right, somewhere in that region. As they are going to go for it here, Mark. I agree with you. 2 receivers left. They shift Aiden Smith in motion from the right wing. They set to throw it. Looks for Dempsey, and it's just off the hands as Dempsey touched it, but couldn't quite haul it in, and they'll turn it over on downs at the 24.
Black was getting heat. He had to get rid of it, again, maybe a little quicker than he wanted, but a pretty good throw. Dempsey probably tell you he probably wanted to have that one. It was just right off his fingertips.
Just couldn't quite bring it in. That stops the clock with 9:56, and the Vikings take over with the ball at their own 24-yard line, trailing by 21.
Central Cabarrus got what they needed. They got to stop. Now you got to put together a drive, try to get something in the end zone if you're going to get back in the game, down 3 scores. 28-7, 9:56 left, third quarter.
They come out, put 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. There is a snap to Rogers. Rogers sets his feet, now rolls right. Getting chased by the defense, and he throws that one away and throws it towards the cheerleaders here on the near sideline. As they all scattered, Mark.
Yeah, they did. One young lady's like, she's waving her hand. I didn't want any part of it.
Yeah, you throw a football towards the cheerleaders, they usually they get out of the way pretty quick.
I saw a cheerleader at Davidson get hit with a punt on the sideline. Got a concussion, hit her in the head on the bounce. That's been several years ago.
That is tough.
Rogers made the smart play, threw it across the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. They'll line up 2 to the right, move the man in motion from the left. They hand the ball off to the back of James. James makes the line of scrimmage, makes a man miss, turns it up the middle of the field, still on his feet, running forward before being brought down at the 44. And a big run from James there, shifty and quick.
James, a really good runner. We've seen, this is the 3rd game I've seen of Central Cabarrus this season, and he's had 2 or 3 really good runs in each of the games. That'll be his 2nd good run of the game.
That was a huge run there to move the chains after the incompletion on the 2nd and 10, and we have an injured Tiger there who looks like he's cramping back at the 35-yard line as the training staff
got that leg in the air and pointing his toe. And
this gives us time real quick, Mark, to thank all the athletic trainers real quick who are at every practice, every game, everything to make this possible for these athletes to be able to participate in all the sports that they have in high school for all these athletes. So a shout out to Atrium Health for all of their help, and also a shout out to all the parents and all the staff who make it possible every Friday night at all these high schools for all these young men and women in all sports to be able to compete and do what they do and enjoy the best, play their sport. So shout out to them as well. As the injured player there walking off the field is Michael Estevez. He looks like he's cramping there. He'll get a drink of water.
We've called his name a couple times tonight on a couple of pretty good runs.
First down and 10 here after the big run from James. Ball spotted at the 44. James will line up to the right of his quarterback, Rogers. He'll put two receivers right, one left. Rogers gets time, throws, finds his man who gets hit the second he catches it, and he'll be stopped at the 50, but that was an instant bang-bang play. Once caught, he was hit of McCorkle.
Yeah, McCorkle hung on to it. That ball looked like it was in the air a long time, and then Cameron Chitari came across and hit him. Got more scores coming in on their Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. We'll check those when we get another moment.
2nd and 4 here. They'll put two receivers to the left, one to the right. Running back James lined up left. Quarterback keeps it to Rogers. Rogers finds a seam, cuts it back towards the inside of the numbers. Streaking down the left sideline, getting chased, and he's going to be running out of bounds at about the 15. But a huge run from Rogers as he went right up the middle, cut it back towards the near sideline and down the left sideline and out of bounds, Mark.
Dempsey was looking him eye to eye, just daring him to cut back into the field, and Rogers made the smart place to step out of bounds and didn't sustain the hit.
I'll mark it at the 18-yard line, and inside the Pizza Hut red zone are the Central Cabarrus Vikings. Remember, if you don't go to pizzahut.com today, you got Saturday for college football, and you got the NFL on Sunday. Go to pizzahut.com. They'll deliver it to your door. You don't even have to leave the house.
Got locations all over Cabarrus County.
Line up two left, one right. That one on the ground, and Rogers picks it up, but he's going to be swarmed in the backfield. And it's going to be a loss of 3, as it looked like a little bit of miscommunication between him and James there on that handoff.
I think the timing was thrown off. I think he just dropped the ball. And we've seen that about 3 times now for Central Cabarrus today, where they've either mishandled the snap or just dropped it. That really throws the timing of your offense off. There's so much timing involved with, when that running back's going to get there, what your blocker is going to do up front, and if you drop the ball, everything's out of whack.
And that one definitely messed that up. And the blue jerseys were there and hungry as the Tigers hit them for a loss. And they'll come out here with a 2nd and 13 ball, move back to the 21, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Rogers got pressured from the side, now goes up the middle. Still on his feet, working the left sideline, and runs out of bounds at the 10 as he took that one straight up the middle and went to the left side this time, Mark, and took it to the far side.
I think they may have found him a quarterback.
I think they have. He's got some legs.
He was going to get sacked, and he just found a way to get up the field.
Brings up a 3rd down, 2 yards to go.
Only thing that it looks like, and I'm not talking bad against him, but the only thing it looks like they might need to work on just over the week is he's got the legs and he's got an arm, is just securing that football. That's all it really looks like they need to work on, is just a little bit better ball security from the snap. So a 3rd down and 1 here. They'll line up 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Rogers looks over towards the sideline. Back of James lined up to his left and 1 receiver left. There is a snap. Rogers will keep it himself. Go left side, duck the shoulder, fight forward. He's right there at the line to gain. It looks like he got it by maybe a yard.
I think he did. Let's see where they. Well, no, if it left foot, right foot.
Looks like he's pointing first. Yes,
okay,
it is.
they are
first
pointing
down.
first down.
Yeah, that was a close mark. I mean, he was right there at it as the White Hats jogging back to the middle of the field. So maybe a flag on the play? Is there one or no?
Well, he's looking. No,
Nope.
he's just.
Okay, he kind of gave the look like there might have been a flag is the way he was kept looking back towards the booth.
It's like they look back toward the camera.
That's what it looked like, right?
1st and goal now at the 8.
7 minutes left here, 3rd quarter. Central trying to get back in this one as they trail by 21. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Rogers set to throw, middle of the field. That one was heading towards Clay, and he couldn't hold on to that one as it went through his hands.
Little low. He had to reach down for it, and he had a man on his backside too, and he probably can feel that pressure from behind.
Good defense from the Tigers on first down. That puts the ball back at the 8 for a 2nd and goal here. Clock stop, 6:48 left.
Going to the fourth quarter, J.M. Robinson 42, Concord nothing.
Robinson back to their ways as they are the two-time defending 3A South Piedmont champions. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Rogers set to throw, dancing around in the backfield. He'll work left, finds a seam on his feet, fighting towards the goal line, still stretching, reaching out those arms, and no signal from the official yet.
Looks like
They're
they
gonna say
got
he's
hit
about
at
a
the
half
one.
a yard
Got
short.
hit just shy of the goal line. He was about to stretch across it, and a Tiger came flying in there to help his teammate, knocked him back.
So I couldn't see the official on the far side of the field because there were so many jerseys over there. He was pretty much invisible. The only one we could see is the near side judge here, and he marked him about a foot short, as you heard Mark say there. Clock running, 6:12 left on a 3rd down and goal for the Vikings. They move everybody from the right side in motion. Now put 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Chinwall, the man by himself, right. Snap to Rogers. Rogers gives to James. James lowers his shoulder and he's in there.
That's a big, big play for Central Cabarrus.
As Central Cabarrus punches another one in there to make it 13-28 here with 5:54 in the 3rd quarter. And like you said there, Mark, that was a big touchdown for Central Cabarrus. They may only see the ball 2 more times, and they need to get 2 stops and go get 2 touchdowns because they haven't seen the ball a whole lot yet today.
And they just burned a timeout.
Maybe they're going for 2 here.
I hate to lose timeouts when you might need them at the end of the game like this, but you want to make sure you've got it right. When you're down and playing from behind, though, you've got to find a way to extend the game, and timeouts are a way to extend the game. The clock's already stopped, and this is somebody's just disorganized and don't have what they want.
Yeah, the worst thing that would happen there is you back you up 5 yards, you kick the field goal, and with the kicker they got over there at Cossack, you would think that
Cossack can kick it. He's solid on extra points and probably out. We were watching him kick in warm-ups. He was kicking
about 35.
Out to about out in between the 25 and the 20-yard line. So that's about 30 in the 35-yard range.
He's kicking somewhere between 35 yards, so you'd have to think he's got it, and that's what the timeout was for. They're
coming out in a straight offensive play. They're not going to do the old scramble drill or anything.
And they're bringing out Pate in the Wildcat. Pate gives the handoff to Chinwall. Chinwall brought down in the backfield. Nothing happening there as the Tigers sniff that one out, and a good defensive play there by Cameron. Oh, that's Kaiser Flynn, number 2 there. With it, I looked at the sheet wrong. I thought 1 was going to be on top. They don't have a number 1. So 5:54 left. Score 28-13. 15-point lead here from Mount Pleasant. Is 5:54 3rd quarter. Still plenty of time left in this ball game for the Vikings to get back in it, but they need to stop Tigers here pretty quick because we watched Mount Pleasant go on an 8-minute drive there in the 1st quarter and just eat clock. Mark Plemons, James Mellick with you guys here on the broadcast this evening. Want to thank you guys for spending your Friday nights with us here on our YouTube channel on 485 Sports. Always great to have you guys listening, and we love having you guys here for the Battle of 49 between these 2 schools that are just separated by about 8 miles.
Of course, video of tonight's game is on the NFHS network. We came with a plan to put our audio on the NFHS network, and
just had a little bit of a few issues getting there.
Oh yeah,
just had a few issues.
Just let me say that I won't say on the air the things that I am thinking about the NFHS network today.
I completely understand.
If you knew how much effort we've gone to try to get this sound on those stupid Pixelots, I'm about ready to try something different.
I can understand that. As we are set to kick this one off from left to right. The Tigers back to receive it. It will be received, but bobbled.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised they didn't call that one down. Now they're going to call it down.
It was bobbled. The knees touched the ground there. It looks like Regal couldn't handle it. Might not. Nope, that's 23.
Yeah, that's the you can't get back up and run. So that's going to be probably the poorest field position Mount Pleasant's had all night. They've started with great field position most of the night. With 5:52 left here in the third quarter, they're going to be starting just inside their 15-yard line.
Owen Deaton, the one there who couldn't quite handle that as his knees touched and the ball spotted at the 15 with 5:52 left here. They come out, put two receivers each way. They hand this one off, but the play
There
goes
was movement
dead.
over on the right side. I don't know if it was an offense or defense, but there was contact made. They're going to say procedure against Mount Pleasant.
How about the procedures they had last night in that NFL game? Robert Stanley got called for, I think it was four or five procedures.
They said in preseason the emphasis was going to be to keep the, and you'll see this a lot, the offensive, you see this in college football too. I can't believe they haven't started calling it before now. The line's bowing.
Yeah.
Those tackles trying to get a head start, so they're coming off the line of scrimmage.
They give that one to Regal, and he goes forward for one and gets it out to the 10. But, yeah, like you said, it's bowing, and it's making that arc going backwards. And what they're trying to do is they're saying that everybody on that line has to have their helmet at the belt of the snapper.
Yeah.
So they were saying Robert Stanley was lining up behind this belt of the snapper, and they were getting him for formation. They hit him about 5 times for that last night as we face a second down here. And they shift Regal in motion. They run the reverse and give it to Aiden Smith. Smith down the left hash, jumps past a man, but gets grabbed by the ankle and brought down up at the 30. But that's enough to move the chains for a Tigers first down.
I tell you what, I love that play. What happens is you send one man in motion. He takes the handoff like he's doing that little sweep, and he immediately, the wing from the other side immediately steps inside and just takes a handoff like a second quarterback's handing it off to him. And the defense over pursues.
Black throws Smith across the numbers far side, and he's hit right at the line to gain. Looks like he might be about a yard short at the 39, and that's where they'll mark it, a yard short. It was a quick play as Colin Black got that snap, rolled right, hit Smith in the flat, tried to get the first down, just couldn't get it.
Mount Pleasant's personnel fits this offense so well. You don't have big backs. You've got big guys up front. You've got these kind of scat back receiver-type guys at all these positions.
Dempsey with it now. He finds a crease and a seam up the middle, down the right hash. Now back out toward the numbers and inside the 40, all the way up to the Central Cabarrus 37.
I'm guessing Ethan Dempsey probably runs track, too, because, man, those wheels were running on that one.
A timeout. We got a timeout on the field? Nope.
I think they're just dragging the chains forward.
I just saw the near sideline judge come out waving his hands here, and I thought maybe there was a timeout here, but no timeout on the field. And, yeah, like you talked about this team here, we'll talk about it again in a minute about these Tigers as they line up trips left and move Aiden Smith in motion off the right side wing, and flags fly, and that's probably going to be another false start on the Tigers.
Yeah, it is. They get a little bit too much of a hurry.
And real quick about this team, you look down this roster, Mark, the core players to this roster, Ethan Dempsey, Jacob Regal, Colin Black, Aiden Smith, all of them juniors. They're coming back next year.
And they really, really fit this system well. They throw the ball just enough to you can't take that for granted.
Trips to the left. They give it to Smith, who comes out of the right side, ring back, works left, lowers the shoulder, and fights forward for a couple of more all the way up to the 33 as he lowered the shoulder.
Got a good block on the corner again. As they make that turn, they just always seem to have somebody there. They're not putting big hits because, they'll flag that if you blindside somebody. But just getting there, getting in the way, getting their hands up kind of in the way so that they have to run them over them to get to the ball carrier.
And move Smith again, this time out of the slot. Actually, that's Regal. They move out of the slot, and Regal fights it forward to the 31. And it's going to bring up a third down and about 4 here. Under 3 left, third quarter mark.
One of the guys in on the block there looked like Sawyer Eisenhower, and I think he's playing guard right now. It looked like he just buried somebody.
Wing back to the right. They slip Regal in motion from the slot. They give it to Regal, who works to the right side of the field, gets it up to the 28,
He's
29.
about a yard short, maybe
Yard to a yard and a half.
Yard and a half. Yeah, probably closer to 2, looks like.
And they're bringing on some bigger bodies there. You see 44, 42, and 75 trotting out there. So you got Chase Thomas, Maddox Barrier,
They're going
and
to that.
Levi Furr.
They're going to that sledgehammer formation. 3 backs and a quarterback.
It's direct snap to Dempsey. Dempsey finds a seam, spins, keeps it up the hash. That's enough for the first down as he gets it all the way inside to 25 to 24.
I like that. I'd like to call that sledgehammer because what you got the offensive line, 3 backs, 1 man taking the snap, and he just runs behind those 3 running backs. And
It's tough to stop. That is a very tough play to stop. 150.
I think we've seen him stop them one time out of about 6 or 7 times they've run that play or that formation.
They come back out here with Colin Black at the quarterback spot. He hands it off directly to Regal out of the backfield, who tries to get the edge. Grab from behind, makes the man miss. Down the inside numbers, and he's in there for the touchdown.
McCorkle, I think he had a towel, and McCorkle had a hold of the towel. The towel came loose, and boom, down the sideline.
He took off as McCorkle couldn't hold on. Regal hit the handoff, went left side, and took off. That extends the lead for the Tigers as they're now up 34-13, 128 left third quarter. As Mount Pleasant trying to go to 3-0 on the year.
How long did you have that run?
I had that run at 24 yards.
24 yards unofficially, and extra point by Sellers.
And the extra point is good.
35-13, late third quarter.
And last year's score, as I mentioned there, Mark, 31-14 was the score as Mount Pleasant was able to win that game. This one so far, they're right there at that score already. They're already over it.
35-13.
Couple of scores coming in here on the Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. Independence leads Charlotte Catholic 14-13.
That's Charlotte Christian, I believe.
Yeah, Christian, sorry. Porter Ridge, Hickory Ridge at half, 42-2. Porter Ridge on top there. Into 3, Myers Park 37, Sun Valley 14. So it looks like you're going to have Myers Park get their first one of the year. Butler 26 and Irmo
From down South Carolina.
21, and Butler is driving. Butler trying to get their first win of the year, I think, so far, too. Butler's had
Irmo, coached by Aaron Brand, who was at Advance, now Julius Chambers. His son's the quarterback for Irmo and a pretty high recruit.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, I did not know that. Nate Wimberly of WBTV was on WFNZ this afternoon talking preps and with Kyle Bailey, and that was where I learned that.
As that kickoff is fielded by Central Cabarrus, they find a seam, turn it upfield. Here comes James. James across midfield, all the way up to the 40, and had one man to beat, and he was going to pay dirt.
That was the kicker, I believe.
It was Brandon Sellers who made the stop. It was the kicker.
They list Sellers as a kicker and defensive back, and we got another Central Cabarrus player down.
As he
Man, I tell you,
fielded that and took
Central
off.
Cabarrus is good on returns.
They are fast.
If they could find a way to get their offense paired up with their kickoff and punt returns,
they're going to be dangerous. I mean,
But-
once they get, like you said, once those bodies out there on special teams lock into a block, they lock in and they stay in their block, but they don't hold. And then they have James, who's back here deep, who's just quick, shifty, and can just find a seam. And he finds that seam, and being small at the same time, and I don't mean like that, but shorter guy, he's hard to see, and he just finds a crease and he takes off. He does a phenomenal job, James does. And like you said, if they can get Rogers.
if I were Central Cabarrus, I would try to get those guys in space.
Yeah.
I mean, get James, and they've done that somewhat with Chinua.
Yep.
But try to get James in some space. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't catch the ball well or something. But if you get him on a screen pass or get him, some little flare outside.
Quan Carpenter, the senior wide receiver there, the one that getting help off the field for the Vikings, appears to be cramping the way he's walking.
Yeah, you got that, kind of little waddle you do when you've got that leg cramped up.
As he heads towards the far sideline of the Vikings with 1:19 left here. And Central at the 38 of Mount Pleasant. And the first time the offense is out there in this drive, they're already in great field position. They'll line up 2 left, 1 right here. James in the backfield beside his quarterback of Rogers. Rogers set to throw. Looks near side. That one's going to be caught, but hit right after he caught it at the 40, at the 35 is the receiver, Josh Gregory.
Pass complete to number 15. It's Josh Gregory.
So Gregory with the reception.
Tigers number 3, Cameron Chitaro.
That'll make it a second down and about 4 here after that reception. Going to make it a lot easier here. They're going to line up on the right hash, working left to right, so closest to us. They put 2 receivers on the wide side of the field. Hand this one off to James, who goes wide side left, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage before being brought down at the 33.
Number 42, Chase Thomas.
Chase Thomas with the tackle there.
Got a Tiger coming off holding his left arm, and coach is sending him to the training staff.
May have messed up a finger there. It's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Maybe dislocated one.
He immediately started pointing to his hand and ran off the field.
It was Chase Thomas, the one with the tackle. And,
Made a good hit on the play, but he definitely – they're looking at it.
Yeah, I think it might be a finger popped out. They'll pop that back in as he looks away. Training staff grabs a hold of it, and they keep this one in the hand of Rogers, who goes left. Rogers gets to the 30, tries to lower the shoulder and get that extra yard that he needs, but he stops short right at the 30.
Central Cabarrus with a big play here. If they try to get back in this thing, they're still down 3 scores, 35-13, and that will be the end of the third quarter.
And as we see, the training staff already done working on Chase Thomas there, as Chase Thomas is already about to head back out onto the field. It was just a dislocated finger would be what I would guess it would be there, Mark, as he was about ready to go back out there and go back into action.
He didn't seem like he was in pain, so I'm wondering if he got a scratch or something maybe that had to cover up the blood.
It may have been that as well.
But you never know. It's hard. We shouldn't really speculate on the injuries, but Dr. Mellick and I will keep you informed. So,
we'll do our best from up here.
Well, we got 1 quarter left here. It's been an interesting football game and very entertaining. Some big plays for both teams. Mount Pleasant just jumped out with a couple of big drives in the first quarter, an 80-yard drive on their first possession. Regal going in for a score, and Sellers with a kick, 7-0. They got the ball back and on a short field with a mishandled kickoff, and then they punched it in a couple minutes later at the end of the first quarter, and all of a sudden it was 14-0. Central Cabarrus came back, though, with a 49-yard pass play from Rogers to Chinua, and that made it 14-7. Then the Tigers got a Dempsey kickoff return for 97 yards, and that was an electric play.
High snap. Able to get it down, though, Mark. Running some trickery here as they flip this one off to the quarterback of Rogers. Run the old Philly special. And they're off to the far side and brought down in a flag for a horse collar tackle near the 10.
Yeah, that'll come half the distance to the goal from the spot he went out of bounds. Just got too much of that shoulder pad, looks like.
So they marked him at the 15, actually, there. But, yeah, that's...
Or it may be that he was out of bounds when he grabbed a hold of him.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, that's all right. I was looking down, reading off the replays. The other scores here in the second half. James with a 1-yard run, capping an 80-yard drive, made it 28-13. The run failed. Regal then with a 24-yard run unofficially, and Sellers with a kick, 35-13. Mount Pleasant as we head here to the fourth quarter.
And that was the call on the field, horse collar tackle, so half the distance to the goal, puts the ball at the 6-yard line for Central Cabarrus with 11:51. So a first and goal here for the Vikings. They shift the wing back out into the flat of Gregory near side. They got a receiver to the right as well. High snap again to Rogers. He gets it again. This time he has nowhere to go as the defense comes right up the middle and greets him.
Yeah, that destroys the play because he has to make sure he can get a hold of the football, and just the whole timing is off. The defense is chasing after him.
Chase Thomas and Levi Furr are the ones in there for the sack. Furr comes right up the middle, and Thomas came right off the edge. And, yeah, it throws the whole timing off when that quarterback's got to get up there and try to get his feet set again and get rid of that ball. As they line up 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Running back at James to the right of his quarterback, Rogers. Rogers goes right side, got a man, throws it back shoulder, makes the catch. Is going to be Chinua, and he's in there for the touchdown.
Another pretty good throw.
A back shoulder throw in the back right corner of the end zone for another touchdown for Chinua. That's number 2 for him today. A strike from 7, we'll call that one 9. Strike from about 9 yards out, and they strike from 40.
Actually, I think it was from the 11. They had lost 5 on the previous play.
Was it the 11?
Yeah, I think it was the 11. So we'll call it the 11-yard pass play.
Because I knew they were at the 7, and they lost some yardage, so I wasn't quite sure where they landed.
Now, after missing the extra point attempt last time, you're pretty much forced to go for 2 here.
Put 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, Chinwall right, running back to Gregory. They move Chinwall in motion from right to left. They'll empty the right side of the field and put trips left. Put Chinwall in the slot. Rogers will keep it, take it running right, gets hit, falling towards the goal line. No signal. There it is. 2 points good.
They sent all the receivers to one side except one man over there. They can't kind of influenced everything to the far left and ran back to the right.
Yeah, it was Chinwall they lined up over there, like you said, and then they shifted him back left. And once they put trips left, it shifted everything right. It was an empty little spot for the quarterback there, Rogers, to lower the shoulder, run in there to make it 21-35 with 11:06 remaining here at Michael John Stadium in Larry Honeycutt Field. Whew, that's a tongue twister.
It is when you say it that way.
Yes, it is. I got myself all tongue twisted up on that one.
Tongue tingler?
Yes, it was. As they are set to kick this one off from right to left is Central. And Central putting some points up tonight, Mark.
Central's got some good pieces. They just are not consistent enough to maintain drives. And I think the change in quarterback has made a big difference. Nothing against Ryan, but we've seen some better throws. We've seen a couple ball. In the first 2 games, we saw some balls, both Pate and Ryan just kind of throw it in a crowd.
Yeah.
And hope somebody would catch it. And we have not seen that tonight. We've seen balls that were definitely thrown in the right spot, thrown to the right team.
We only saw it happen one time, and that one time that it happened, it was picked, but that was early in the game. As this one's going to be a short, choppy one that's going to be fielded at the 30, far side, and they're going to say,
I think he was down.
Yeah, they say he was down there at the 30. I didn't see who made the catch. So once we get the player out of the way, we'll see. It looks like it's 22 or 23, one of those two.
23 looks like.
Owen Deaton.
Owen Deaton, yeah. Deaton, one of the senior wide receivers and defensive backs.
Yeah, it's tough to see when there's somebody in the way there.
We're marking it at 36.
I thought he caught it at the 30.
I thought he did too.
I'm not sure why it's at the 36. I thought it was at the 30, but roger that. We'll take it. They line up, wing back to the right. This time he blocks. They hand it directly off to the back in the backfield of Regal, who fights forward to the 40, and he'll pick up 4.
I think you're going to see a good dose of Tigers left, Tigers right, and just pound the ball to try to shorten this game. 10:45 left now.
Leading by 14, I think you said. What you said is correct.
The scoreboard's showing Central Cabarrus with 3 timeouts. I don't think that's right. I think they spent one on the extra point.
I agree, as they give this one to Aiden Smith, who comes out of the wingback position. And
that's going to come back, I believe, for a blocking penalty.
He fights up to the 44 as he comes from the left side wingback to work it right towards the numbers. And as you heard Mark say, that one's probably coming back for a blocking penalty on Mount Pleasant. As there is a flag.
they signaled holding, and that was at about the 41-yard line. So they'll mark 10 off from that spot. They'll get to replay the down.
Puts the ball back to the 31-yard line.
Puts you behind the change, yeah.
Facing a second down and 15 here. There is the snap. They run the reverse play and give it to Smith. Smith works left, lowers the shoulder, and gets hurdled over a man up to the 37 as he was hit low and rolled forward.
Got most of the penalty yardage back. Look, get about 8 on that one, 7 or 8. That's a good play to give you a third down and still makeable at 3rd and 9.
Yeah, 3rd and 9. Clock winds down under 10 here.
That one didn't look quite as smooth as the other, but I think it's because Central Cabarrus had a man right there in the vicinity.
I agree with you. Did not quite look as smooth. I agree with that. They line up Aiden Smith as the wingback on the right side this time. Put 2 receivers to the left and put Regal to the left side of his quarterback. There is the snap to Black. Black tosses it out to Smith, who came out of the wingback on the left side. Now working the left sideline all the way to the 30 before being shoved out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and a nice catch there from Aiden Smith, as it's been dangerous with him lining up in that wingback spot. This time they run him into the flat, and he takes off down the field.
And Ethan Dempsey running a safety in a corner out of the picture, running deep, and he just dropped it off short to Smith, and that's a good play design.
You had him fooled with him lining up there so much in that wingback spot. A good call there to run it, and Dempsey comes back out onto the field and ready to run it here as the ball spotted at the 30 of Central Cabarrus with 9:28 left here. 1st and 10. Smith lined up as the wingback right. They hand this one to Regal off up the middle, and Regal fights forward and gets it all the way inside the 25 to the 23.
Tigers' ground game's been good tonight.
They have pounded the rock, and that offensive line up front has been able to move the pile of that Central Cabarrus team. But, you know, at the start of the game, it was really, really even. Those two were pushing each other around. It was one would win, one would win. Here in the second half so far has been a lot of Mount Pleasant controlling that line of scrimmage.
Still a 2-score game with just under 9 minutes to play.
Smith lined up as a wingback on the right. They bring the man from the slot in motion, and he fights forward before being brought down is Dempsey. Dempsey down at the 20-yard line.
Shoestring away from 6 on that one. He had grass in front of him or turf in front of him, and somebody grabbed him by the shoe.
And that's enough for the first down, though. He got just enough, and they make a stop inside the Pizza Hut red zone. Remember, it's not too late to go to pizzahut.com and get yourself a pizza. Cinnamon sticks, breadsticks, 2-liter, whatever you like. What's your favorite thing to get from there, Mark?
I usually get either a Super Supreme or a veggie, a thin crust.
I like
with some breadsticks.
The cheese as they do a direct snap to Dempsey, who runs up the middle and gets it up to the 15 on first down.
That's that sledgehammer play again. Just, hey, we're going to push, we're going to run it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And they're lining up. It looks that way again as Dempsey is lined up as the quarterback. And favorite thing from Pizza Hut, cheese pizza. But my favorite thing, I love their breadsticks.
I like breadsticks too. I'll get them and save them and eat them leftover and put a little extra cheese on them. Put them in the toaster oven.
Love the breadsticks. I can agree with you on that. As another direct snap to Dempsey. This time works down the left hash. Gets the first down and all the way inside the 10 down to the 6. And another big run from Ethan Dempsey in that sledgehammer style of offense.
Yeah, they just bore a hole. And Chase Thomas was one of the backfield guys that was kind of leading the way up in that hole. And he put a pop on somebody after the offensive line had opened the initial hole.
That helped move the pile and get Ethan Dempsey.
That clock just keeps tick, tick, tick.
Dempsey again. This time works right side. Gotten by the shoe, and he tries to hop and jump and squeeze forward, but he gets all the way down to the 1 and can't get in. And he'll be stopped just short. You'd have to think, Mark, they're going to line up in that pounded style of offense again and just run this one in with Dempsey pretty easily.
Just really frustrating for the defense, too. That, they line up, you know what they're going to do, and you can't do anything about it.
And we got a player down on the far side of the field setting down for Central Cabarrus as he was setting down on the field, cramping. I just happened to catch it there, and the only reason I saw it is I looked out there.
So that's an odd position, right?
Yeah, and I was like, that looks a little odd. Then all of a sudden I saw the arms go out like this, and the official still didn't call it, and then he did call it. As the clock stops with 6:50 here, fourth quarter, 35-21 the score. Tigers threatening to increase this lead as they're at the 2-yard line, the 1.5 yard line, 2-yard line, threatening to score here and bust this one open yet again as they lead by 14 now, trying to make it 21. Mark Plemons, James Mellick with you guys here on the 485 crew, listening to us on the YouTube tonight, on our YouTube channel. You can catch and watch the action on the National Federation of High School Sports.
NFHS Network.
Yes, we had a little bit of issue getting on there tonight, so we came over here and switched it over to a radio stream for you guys tonight, but you can catch all the action on the National Federation of High School Sports as more footballs get tossed out from the cheerleaders. This time we caught it. We don't think
We thought it was a flag earlier when they were tossing them out there.
At first, when I saw it, I didn't know if it was 100 flags or if it was just one, as Dempsey gets the direct snap, and he runs in there for the touchdown. As they run that power formation, Dempsey goes just to the right side as center, and he punches another one in there with 6:17 left here in the ball game. The score, 41-21. A 20-point lead here for the Tigers, who are well in control and on their way to a 3-0 start under head coach Daniel Crosby.
We saw Coach Mike Johns coming down off the roof of the press box here at halftime, too.
As the extra point is up, it's in good. So 42-21, a 21-point lead here for the Tigers.
6 minutes, 17 seconds remaining in the game. Score.
Sellers has been solid kicking those.
He has. He's had a solid night.
And we saw him make a touchdown-saving tackle on a kickoff as well, so
and it's
good night for the kicker.
And it's been a good night here for the Tigers for their home opener here at Michael John Stadium on Larry Honeycutt Field, as they're giving something for the fans to cheer about tonight. Is they're up big in this home opener, Mark.
Yeah, got a 3-score lead again. They've maintained that 3-score lead, a 2 or 3-score lead since at the end of the first quarter. Mount Pleasant let Central Cabarrus get as close as 14-7, and that's the closest they've been in this game. That was early in the second quarter.
So far, since then, all Tigers.
Into the third quarter on our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard, Olympic 27, West Cabarrus 14. Looks like Duke and Northwestern getting ready to play up on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Yep.
I've been to the old stadium at Northwestern, not to a game, but we walked in there. Davidson practiced in their indoor facility one time, and a nice little stadium. Reminded me a lot of Grove Stadium, about the size of it.
Is this one kicked from left to right from the Tigers, fielded at the 35, takes it far side of the field, runs
McCorkle.
And not brought down, still on his feet. Looked like he went down and then brought down at the 35. He took it far side of the field, and I thought he slipped and went down, but that was the defender. And then he comes back to the middle before being brought down.
It may be coming back. There's a blocking penalty at the 30, blocking the back.
As we have a couple of updates here, Mark, on our Cannon Pharmacy scoreboard. I said that Providence Day was in trouble at halftime. Well, they came back and won that one 24-9 and shut Catholic down. Didn't let him score a point.
That must have been a good matchup. Charlotte Catholic is really good.
I would bet that's a really good matchup. Butler and Irmo tied at 28, heading to overtime.
Let's give you while we got an injured player. Looks like another cramp for Central Cabarrus. Again, Charles Curio from over at Stanley News and Press says that Albemarle, late fourth quarter, is leading West Stanley 33-14.
Kings Mountain and Burns 27-6. Dudley up in Greensboro beats Hillside 44-0 in that one. And Independence and Christian. Independence leads 20-13. I'm not sure how much time's left in that game, but Independence so far seems like they could be one of the top 2 teams in the state after a couple of upset wins. They might be able to give Weddington all they can hang this year. Weddington facing off against West Forsyth tonight up in Forsyth County. They made the trip from Matthews in Union County.
There's a Mount Pleasant player hobbling off, too. Looks like he may be he's got that kind of waddle to the sideline again.
Jackson Burris, player there for the Tigers, coming off with 6:05 left.
So Central Cabarrus with their first down just inside their own 20.
I'd like to see if I could get an update on that game from up that way. As they run that one there for a pickup of nothing on first down.
Gave him a yard to just across the 20.
Well, I do have an update on that game there, Mark.
Oh, do you? Okay.
It's the start of the fourth quarter. This was 20 minutes ago, though. They started the fourth quarter, East Forsyth 13, Weddington 41. So they busted that one open. As
Midway
Weddington-
through the fourth quarter, Mallard Creek trailing Grayson 28-14.
There is the snap to Rogers. Rogers rolls right, gets rid of it, finds his target, but it pops out of the hands there as that went in and out. And he went to Bryson Pate, who we saw play quarterback last week, just couldn't hold on to that one.
Defensive play by one of the Tiger defenders came across the top as the ball was being caught and just spikes it out of his hands. Kind of the peanut punch is, if you go back to the old defensive back for the Panthers and maybe the Bears and a couple other teams.
I think he was with the Bears, old Peanut Tillman.
Stops the clock with the incompleted pass at 5:18 left.
One of my new favorite commercials, now that you bring that up, that I've been watching and seen lately, is that one where you see Dan Marino and Emmitt Smith say, "Oh, we could do it again. Let's come out of retirement." And they show them putting their glasses on, and they say, "No, we're good here on the couch."
Yeah.
As they line up for a 3rd and 9, 2 left, 1 right. Rogers takes off running up the middle, down the right hash, grabbed from behind and brought down at the 25. If that one man wouldn't have grabbed him, he may have had first down there, Mark.
Yeah, the jersey cost him there because they grabbed him by the jersey, and one of the Tigers going to have to check out. His helmet popped off. The guys up front, I think that's number
88.
Number 88 for the Tigers, and that is Rayshon Jones.
As they're going to line up and go for it here on 4th down, Mark. I mean, you kind of have to.
Well, you have to. You're running out of time. You're down 3 scores. I don't blame them. Go for it.
I mean, you would want to think punt here if you could, and they are going to punt it. All right. And
well, that keeps the Tigers from returning it too.
It does keep them from returning it. As a Central Cabarrus player here on the near side instantly went down as that ball was kicked to Gregory like he was cramping. And
yeah, he's kind of trotting off. So
yeah, I mean, that ball was kicked and he instantly went down here on the near side down to a knee. No return there as the ball rolls dead at the 37. That's where the Tigers take over with 4:20 left and a 21-point lead. And as we talked about last time when there was 10 minutes left, we were going to see a heavy dose of Regal and Colin Black and Aiden Smith and even Ethan Dempsey, and you can expect probably the same thing on this drive, right?
I would say so. You're not going to see anything too sneaky unless it just gets to the point that they're just crowding the line of scrimmage so much that you just have to keep them honest. But you want to run at least 3 plays and a punt and run about half that clock off.
They give this off to Regal, who goes left side, and he fights forward up to the 40. So a pickup of 3 there from Jacob Regal.
And you let that clock just keep going, tick, tick, tick. The play started at about, 4:20?
4:20, yep.
So we're looking right now going under 4 minutes with a 3-touchdown lead at 42-21, and Mount Pleasant will come up the line of scrimmage with 2nd and 7.
And the clock is your friend if you are a Mount Pleasant Tiger and head coach Daniel Crosby, and you're watching that back judge now, waiting for that hand to raise. No play clocks here, so when the back judge raises his hand, it shows you there's 10. And at 5, he starts moving his hand, motioning. Hand just goes up, showing 10. We learned that all from Perry, so I'll give him the shout-out on that.
Perry Gabriel, now we'll go to the 5-second count, and they'll hand it off.
They hand it off to Aiden Smith, and Aiden fights forward, and he's right there at the line. They're going to give him the first down as he was hit and jumped forward and moves the ball up to the 48 as he worked from the right side wingback spot left over towards the numbers and gets the first down.
Another crampy player hobbling off for Central Cabarrus.
Dempsey coming out and Regal coming out, both coming out here for the Tigers. Ball lined up on the left hash, working from left to right of the Tigers, so wide side of the field, they line up trips right. Move Smith out of the wingback spot on the left. They keep it in the hands of the quarterback, who runs up the middle, and he'll get it up to the Central Cabarrus 46. That was in the hands of Colin Black.
Snap that one a little early there. He never got the hand in the air for 10 seconds left on the play clock. Checking in for one of the first times, I think, on offense, number 33 for the Tigers, Logan Davis Hilton.
Yeah, we haven't called his name yet tonight.
He's a freshman.
Getting a little varsity time. They line up two receivers to the right, wing back to the left. There is that, and that's on the ground. As it popped out, as he was trying to get that one, and it looks like the defense has recovered it. And Central Cabarrus with the football as he tried to get that one, as you said there. We brought up the young man's name there.
Yeah, let's don't call it again.
And we instantly got him.
We'll call him next week when he makes a better play. But yeah, the freshman tried to run before he tucked it away, and he just dropped it on the ground.
Just that varsity football jitters there, and that's why you want to get him in there.
He had some running room in front of him.
And that's exactly why you want to get those freshmen those snaps, so when they get up to that sophomore, junior, and senior year, those jitters are gone. And just a slight mistake, you want them to happen now when you're leading by 21 than when it's a 3-point ball game. So
still a 3-score game at the 49 for Central Cabarrus. They're trailing.
With the snap. He rolls to the right across the numbers at the 50, still on his feet, makes a man miss the 40, all the way up to the 35 of Mount Pleasant before he runs out of bounds and stops the clock with 2:09 in a first down for Central Cabarrus.
First down for the Vikings. At the Tiger 35.
Yeah, we've only seen Ryan one time. Dylan Ryan punted once, I think.
Yeah. But at least, I know that he didn't get a start at the quarterback spot.
At least it's good he's back out on the field after getting a pretty good shot toward the end of that Piedmont game.
Yes, it is.
Went out of bounds, so stops the clock with 2:09 left.
Ball spotted at the 35 after the first down run there from the quarterback of Lucas Rogers. He'll line up two to the right, short side of the field, wide side of the field. They line up Gregory by himself across the hash. Now shift a man in motion from right to left. There is the snap. Rogers goes up to get it, looks towards the middle of the field, throws. That's going to be caught. He's going to be inside the 25 and be drugged down and out of bounds. And a nice catch there from McCorkle. Regal with the tackle there.
I think they showing he was inbound. Well, yeah, the clock is running, so he must have been inbound. They stopped it to move the chains, and then once the chains were set, the game clock started again.
Must have stopped because of forward motion, or they said he was brought down, like you said, inbounds.
I think he touched down inbounds and then hit the white sideline.
Gregory, the man here at the bottom. Now they shift McCorkle in motion from right to left, so lone man to the right side of the field. There is the snap to Rogers. Rogers steps forward, rolls left, points, takes off running. He'll run across the line of scrimmage and get out around the 34.
Secondary had everybody locked up. The only man with any slight daylight was the far side of the field to the far back corner of the end zone, and I'm not sure that he could throw it with the defense right in his face. So take what you got, run out of bounds, stop the clock with 1:21 left.
I agree with you. Throwing across your body, defense in your face, all the way across the field on the run, that's a tough throw, and it was a right decision by Lucas Rogers there to run out. As they put two receivers to the right, one to the left. Now shift the man in motion yet again.
Tigers adjust up front with those linemen.
Now McCorkle goes back to the right. So it's two receivers right, one left. Gregory, the man by himself. High snap. Rogers gets it down, goes towards McCorkle, dives and lays out for it. And he makes the catch just short of the 20 as he had to lay out for that one, Mark.
Rogers had to throw it over the top of a defensive player. He had dropped kind of in that passing lane, and that just threw the play off.
And a timeout on the field there from Central Cabarrus as they call a timeout. And I'll let you say the coach's name. I can't say it.
Yeah, Coach Zach Bevel-Aqua. It's Bevel-Aqua, like water. Bevel-Aqua.
Bevel-Aqua.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I had no clue, and I asked Zach about it. He says it's bevel, like you bevel glass, and then aqua, like water. Bevel-Aqua.
Bevel-Aqua. Yeah, that's one of those ones you don't want to say 3 or 4 times fast because you'll get tongue twisted quick.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we've seen Brandon Bevel-Aqua back out on the field, number 76. He went off with an injury earlier. Let's check when the line comes back out, see if 76 is on the field.
I didn't see one. I don't know if you did.
I don't know if he's out there or not.
So a 3rd and 8 here. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Chinwall, the man up top by himself on an island. Rogers set to throw, middle of the field, looks, got a man, makes the catch, streaking in there for the touchdown. Looks like it's number 10, going to be Clay.
No, it's going to be Bryson Pate.
Pate, sorry.
Yeah, I think Pate.
Yep,
well,
that's
that
Pate.
10 and 18 are really hard to see.
They are.
So 101 left.
Yeah,
And
10 and 18 on the jersey. It's pretty tough for sure. 101 left here in the ball game. 42-27 the score.
how long a pass was that play? Did you?
Ball was spotted at the 16.
Okay. Now you go for 2 here would make it 29. That would be a 13-point margin.
And James in there at the back to the left. 2 receivers left. Keeps it, throws it, caught. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, good as Rogers tosses that one to Pate.
With just over 1 minute left to go in the game. This
A 2-point conversion is good.
Central Cabarrus 29.
As Central Cabarrus now has 29.
That's the most points Central scored all season.
And they're showing it against this solid defense here. I'd say Mount Pleasant has a solid defense. Let's say this. I'd say that Mount Pleasant's defense is better than what they saw last week against Piedmont.
I would say that. I think Mount's better than Piedmont. Sun Valley probably beats both of these teams pretty handily, though.
Yeah.
Sun Valley was big, and they had a lot of good players.
And Sun Valley took a tough loss tonight against Myers Park, who got their first win of the season. Myers Park started the season 0-2. And alma
Probably
mater-
going to see an onside kick here.
Yeah, you'd have to think that.
101 left. Again, the scoreboard showing 2 timeouts for Central Cabarrus. They did call a timeout earlier in this half on that 2-point conversion, so I don't know why it's still showing 2 there.
Yeah, it should be, like you said, it should be.
Cossack's going to kick the onside kick, and Mount Pleasant's got 10 guys up front and
One back deep.
one back, and of course
Dempsey.
that's Dempsey back at the back.
As we await the onside kick here. Takes a bounce and jumps right on top of it are the Tigers. That's going to be fielded there on the far side of the field by Cameron.
Onside kick at 10.
Get the name right.
Yeah, let's
Shatari.
see. Yeah, Shatari.
Want to make sure I pronounce that one right, so I want to let the PA guy go first.
Shatari.
Shatari.
The Tigers should be able to run the clock out here. 59 seconds left. Let's see if there's. It looks like they're going into victory formation. I see Dempsey standing about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they'll
what it
just
appears.
go to kneel downs.
That's how it appears that they're going to do, is go to a kneel down here.
They take a knee. The clock is running now. I don't know if Central Cabarrus probably not going to call a timeout. They're probably just
Let it run, and it's how it appears that they're going to let it do. As you see the players on the near sideline start to stand up for Mount Pleasant. Play clock now, or the game clock now under 40. So a snap now would end the ball game.
if they don't call a timeout. Yeah.
There's the snap. And the Tigers jog towards the near sideline. The Vikings towards the far sideline as the clock continues to run, and that should be the final play of the ball game.
So Mount Pleasant winning this one 42-29 over Central Cabarrus. And really exciting ball game here tonight. We've had some blowouts, and this one, though, both teams had some really good plays. Mount Pleasant looking solid, though, with and I go back to that 97-yard kickoff return for Ethan Dempsey and the Tigers. That gave Mount Pleasant the margin really to kind of keep that 2-score margin the whole rest of the game. And, Central Cabarrus never could really get back closer to that, James.
Yeah, I agree with you. Once Ethan Dempsey had that big run, it was kind of turn it on from there, and it was game on for them. And then at the same time, it looked like there was going to be that spark of life there for Central when you had that touchdown that was caught by Chinwall, where Dempsey was standing there waiting on it, thinking he was going to have a gift delivered to him. They bit back into it and made it a 7-point ball game, and you're like, hold on here. We're going to have a ball game, and then instantly the next play, Dempsey comes out there and takes it 97 yards, and you just feel like that far sideline just had the air just let right out of him right then at that moment, and it hurt.
Yeah, that was a big play. Well, tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by BenMined.com. Shop, click, and drive, BenMined.com. By your hometown drugstore, Cannon Pharmacy, CannonPharmacies.com, home of free delivery. Wilkinson Funeral Home in Concord, a proud supporter of Cabarrus County Athletics. By the Carolina Pizza Huts, PizzaHut.com. Cabarrus County's newspaper, IndependentTribune.com. By the Cabarrus County Fair, and that's going on through September the 14th. Also by the Carolina Renaissance Festival. Don't forget tomorrow, Saturday, September the 7th, they've got a job fair at the festival grounds. And by the Southern Christmas Show. Southern Christmas Show will be coming up in November. We'll get you more details as we get closer. Again, that's SouthernChristmasShow.com. Well, James, final comments before we wrap it up here.
It was a great ball game. It did not disappoint. The trip out here to Mount Pleasant was an easy trip, and these two teams put on a show. The Battle of 49 goes to Mount Pleasant yet again, back-to-back years. I think that's 4 in a row for them now, where they've won this one against Central Cabarrus. So huge shout-out to them, and a good job by their head coach, Daniel Crosby, of getting the guys ready to go. And I'm telling you right now, Mark, Mount Pleasant looks really good. And I think that maybe not this year, because Robinson is solid again like they were in years past. But I'm telling you, this squad with Colin Black, Jacob Regal, Ethan Dempsey, Aiden Smith, all of these juniors that you have on this squad coming back next year, this is going to be their second full-time season being the lead guys for this team, because they did it last year. Next year will be their third year doing that. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in that 3A division next year and this year.
Well, they're in 2A. So
they are 2A.
It's
You're
2A.
right.
So, Robinson was 2A, and they moved up, and they've dominated, winning against 2 4A teams and then beating a Concord team. Just beat the snot out of them tonight. That's what it looked like. 48 to nothing the last time I heard.
They beat them hard. Yeah. Now, I'm just saying the 2A better watch out, because next year this team is going to be for real.
Well, the final score here tonight was Mount Pleasant 42, Central Cabarrus 29. And, James, let's wrap it up here, and we'll head on out. We appreciate all the hospitality here at Mount Pleasant, Athletic Director Jason Sarvis, and, of course, Daniel Crosby, and, of course, all of our friends over at Central Cabarrus as well. Final score one more time is Mount Pleasant 42, Central Cabarrus 29. You've been watching, you've been listening today to high school football on Radio Free Cabarrus and 485 Sports. For James Red Mellick, I'm Mark Clemens. Have a great evening, everybody.